Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
I have a bit of bad news. It seems that your country has suspended all traveling privileges on passports that have been issued by your government, and our State Department has revoked a visa that was going to allow you to enter the United States. That's it in a nutshell. While you were in the air, there was a military coup in your country. Now most of dead members...
what the hell is this? This is the worst thing in the world.
Members of the Presidential Guard, they were attacked in the middle of the night. They got it all on GHN. There were very few civilian casualties, so I'm sure your family is fine. But no more Krakozhia. New government, revolution. So all the flights in your country have been suspended indefinitely, and the new government has sealed all borders, which means your passport and visa are no longer valid. So currently, you are a citizen of nowhere. Even if we could get you new papers, we couldn't process them until the United States recognizes your country's new diplomatic reclassification. You don't qualify for asylum, refugee status, temporary protective status, humanitarian parole, non-immigrant work travel visa. You are, at this time, simply podcastable.
That was terrible.
Wait, first off, you did the whole Stanley Tucci monologue just for the last word to be podcastable?
That is correct.
I see why you and John are friends, because that is the worst.
That's some bullshit.
Like, that is the worst. I mean,
He
his
messed
segue
it
is the
up.
worst.
I interrupted him. He didn't stop.
Because it was so long.
It's so long.
When people start
wasn't
a
gonna
podcast.
take another shot at it,
They turn it off if they don't like what they hear. You know, you want to draw someone in. I'm a journalist. You know, you write a lead to
Sure.
hook someone. What he did was the opposite.
Shit. Oh, guys, we had a problem with recording. Griffin, do the whole thing again.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Okay.
No. Is this real?
No, I'm fucking around.
Thank God.
Welcome to Blank Check with Griffin and David.
My name is Griffin.
I'm David Sims.
This podcast is about filmographies. Directors who have massive success early on in their career are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy projects they want. Sometimes those checks clear, sometimes they bounce, baby.
Yes. And today we're doing part of our miniseries, Pod Me If You Cast.
The films of Steven Spielberg, the DreamWorks years. Arguably
That's right.
the biggest blank check ever. Man founded his own studio just to make whatever he
Man built
wanted.
his own airport terminal.
He did.
To make a movie.
He did.
Wow.
And that was a line from the very quotable film, The Terminal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand that there's not a good line in The Terminal.
Correct.
Like, there's not really a lot of hot lines.
No, he has one. He has one. Krakozhia.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Krakozhia.
Krakozhia.
What are you called? Podcasia.
I mean, no. You know what? There is Catherine Zeta-Jones yelling, "Get away from me! I'm sick."
Oh, yeah.
That does stick in my memory.
I mean, I feel like the most notable line of dialogue in the movie is also my least favorite line in the movie, so I didn't want to use that.
Which is,
why would a woman like you who get any man she wants go for a man like Victor Navorsky?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then she goes, that's something a man like you could never understand. I could have done that with podcasts. I'm going to introduce our guest. We're very excited to have him on because it's been a long time in the making.
We've been trying.
Yep.
We've been trying.
We've been trying hard.
Not only were you on the books to be an episode, but we actually promised that you were going to be in an episode.
right. And then you weren't. Yeah.
True Lies. We thought we were
Oh,
going to have you on
I
for
was-
True Lies, and then our schedules all clashed.
But it's happening now.
But I had a lot of people, like, when we announced, and we rarely at the end of an episode announce the next guest, because we don't want to call a shot and have it fall through. But I was so confident we were getting you on. We were all so committed to it. And I had a lot of people go like, oh, that's going to be a good episode. I had people reach out to me and go, that's exciting. You're having Jerah on for True Lies.
That makes you feel good.
Didn't work out. We announced our next Macers, Spielberg, and I message you, and I go, hey, here's the list.
Yep.
Pretty much only 2 movies had been claimed at that point. So I pretty much gave you fair reign over the Spielberg filmography and said, what jumps out to you? Any of these jump out to you? And you, without hesitation, said...
I like the Terminal.
You said, and one step further...
Hey, man.
Also,
Not a lot of people are going to say that.
I believe you told me that you own the Terminal.
I own the Terminal on DVD.
Oh, okay, on DVD. You don't own the actual terminal that they built.
No, I don't own that because, he didn't live in, like, a special terminal. He just lived, like, by the gate, technically.
He
You know what I'm
lives
saying?
by an uncompleted
Gate 67.
Yep.
Yes.
Gate 60. Was that supposed to be JFK or LaGuardia?
Supposed to be JFK.
It is supposed to be
JFK.
Yes.
JFK. Okay.
But it is modeled on Dusseldorf International Airport. That is like
The
what
Paris
it looks
one, right?
like. No, Dusseldorf.
The
Dusseldorf.
Paris one is where the real
guy
story
was the real guy.
was in
Yes.
Charles de Gaulle
That
Airport.
is correct.
Guys,
Yes.
I don't know if you do stories, but I got stuck in an airport on New Year's.
Oh, we do
This
stories.
sounds like some comic gold.
Guys,
Stuck in an airport.
I was stuck in an airport.
Which
Year's
airport?
20 Paris.
Ooh.
Paris.
Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle, where the original guy was stuck.
Yeah.
2017. I was
This year,
stuck in
so this is a hot story.
This is hot.
Okay.
Hot and fresh. Okay. This is a fresh, angry story that's about to go down right now. Okay. Hot and fresh. I probably won't get in trouble, but you know what? So what? So me and my friends did buddy passes. I won't say what airline because I got in trouble saying it before. We did buddy passes. The guy checked us in, but gave away our tickets. Like, gave away the seats. Because buddy passes, we didn't know. Every time we were like, oh, can we get on now? He's like, no, just wait. This woman comes on and does one of the best con artist moves ever. She, like, has a breakdown. Like, I'm talking about, like, she goes nuts. And she lays on the ground. Then her son, like, who's a little kid, sits down next to her and, like, pats her. The guy's like, oh, no, we'll get you and your 4 other family members on the plane. All of a sudden, the guy turns around. The woman gets up. I will never forget. The woman gets up, does, like, a little smile and elbow thing to the little kid. And they're just, like, happy. I'm like, what the deuce?
Yeah, well, she did it.
And the thing is, it was such a beautiful move that I was like, why did I not do this? Would anyone have cared if
You're a fucking professional actor.
Why did I not do it?
Should have unloaded.
Right. Yo,
okay, so you get stuck.
We get stuck for 26 hours.
Ooh,
but the beauty is to get. So we're by the gate, which is nice and fancy. They had sleep pods. We're like, this is whatever. We're thinking we're getting another flight, but like you got to go back out through security to get your flights. The airline didn't even give us a flight. Okay, we had to go buy somewhere else. But the problem is that we couldn't check into the flight until 3 hours before. But now we're not through security. So now we're just in no man's land.
In the lobby.
We're just in the lobby, no man's land. Right. And we're Americans. So we're like eating Starbucks for dinner. That's all we could get. And a woman sees us. And it's me and 3 of my friends. They're both brown people. And a woman's like, y'all need to go back to America. Y'all messing up the world.
Who is this woman?
Yo, random woman on the
Speaking English?
Speaking English. I mean, she has an accent, but like speaking English. And like her boyfriend is like definitely on drugs, and he's like, just ignore. Other people around like just ignore. And she's like, Americans mess up everything. And then we're like, things are rough for us. We're scared too. She's like, no, especially the brown ones. And I was like, oh, good. You got to go.
I was going to say, because she gave herself a little wiggle room by saying Americans are messing up everything.
Exactly.
And then she was like, no, gray area.
Not that.
No gray. I dislike every element of who you are.
Everything. Yeah. And the thing is, like, we were stuck, like, sleeping in, like, we were in, like, the project version of the airport because we took, like, the little.
You were in a bad.
Yeah, we were in a bad part. So we're trying to go to sleep.
Terminal,
I felt like
terminal.
him. Yeah. The airline gave us, like, a toothbrush and a disinfectant wipe to wipe your underarms. And I'm like, oh, man, this feels like trash. I remember going to sleep and waking up, and there was an old man who had been circling, like, the area, and I wake up, and he's just looking. Just look, because it's me, my friend, she sleep. My other friend just went to sleep immediately, so he's knocked out.
I hate those people who just go right to sleep.
Just right to sleep immediately.
Hate that.
And I'm just up, and the dude is just staring. And I'm like, I don't know if he wants to rob or kill me or eat me. Yeah. And then he walked away, and, dude, every 10 minutes, just a walk around, just circling. Whew, guys, I feel okay.
So you feel like Victor Dvorsky.
I feel for Victor in this, man.
Victor Dvorsky. Krakozhia.
Our guest is Jerah Milligan.
Right.
Sorry.
Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Yes, one of the hosts of Black Man Can't Jump in
Hollywood. The third and final. We did it.
We've gotten.
Wait, y'all had James and Bray?
Yeah, we got the set now.
Oh, perfect.
We got all 3, you guys.
Bray did the Star Wars cartoon show, and James did After Earth.
Ugh.
After Earth was rough.
Can I ask you, is After Earth a good movie, though?
Don't you do this. The thing is, like, it's
just one question. Is After Earth a good movie?
The thing is, I want Will Smith, guys, to just be great again. Yeah. Like, make Will Smith great again.
Yeah, that would be great.
And it's just.
Did you hear what he's working on next?
We
were talking about
the fucking Tim Burton Dumbo movie?
Dumbo.
What the fuck? But do you know who else they announced is going to be in it?
Who?
Tom Hanks.
No.
Tom Hanks is going to be the villain, and Will Smith is going to be the hero, and neither of them are Dumbo. They're both apparently playing humans in the movie.
Well, is Dumbo going to be like a CGI elephant or something?
I guess, who doesn't talk, and so the humans, it's like...
God, let's not do this, guys.
Yeah, we shouldn't do this.
Like, why? Like, and my thing is, like, first off, we know Dumbo has the crows. Are the crows going to be in it? It's like so many questions I have about Dumbo.
Yeah.
You can't have the crows.
You
gotta lose the crows.
You can't have the crows. But the thing is, the Crows song is so entertaining. Like, there's so many Disney movies I look back on now, like, how did that go? How did I miss this?
Yeah, sure. How did we miss it?
How did I miss that?
Man, we don't know. I was like, I watched Bambi with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old a little while ago, and they're just chill watching Bambi, and I'm all like close to tears. I'm like, how are they? How do you you just watch a movie?
Man, I watched Lady and the Tramp recently, and one of my friends,
I haven't seen this.
She's an Asian actress, and she was like, wait till we get to it. And I didn't. dude, I didn't think about it. She's like, wait till we get to these cats. And I was like, what cats? The cats come up and I'm like, oh.
You're like, this is a movie about dogs?
I'm like, there's no cats in this. The cats come in and I'm like, oh. The cats they put teeth on them. I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, woo. Childhood, y'all. Childhood.
Yeah, also, weirdly aggro line, we are Siamese if you please. We are Siamese if you don't please.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
That's a weird thing to say.
And the cats are literally like sliding across the carpet as snakes. I'm like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any plot importance.
Nope.
No.
To Lady in the Tramp. They were just like, now we'll have some Siamese cats.
Yeah.
Nope. They don't play that in Krakozhia.
And their song will
They
be...
don't play that shit.
That shit in Krakozhia ain't going down.
All right.
Not in the Krakozhia edit.
So just to put this in Spielberg context.
Sure.
He just did his Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, 2002.
Right.
He takes a year off.
Yeah.
And he announces, I'm making like a broad kind of heartwarming comedy with my man Tom Hanks.
Sure.
Getting him back in.
Mm-hmm.
Which was this is not on its face a very Spielbergy movie. Certainly in
No,
sort
not
of
really.
scale.
No,
it's one of those movies where you can imagine there's like a $15 or $20 million version of this movie.
Sure, or even
That's-
like a 35.
Right.
Yeah.
That's directed by like Sean Levy. You
Yeah,
know?
totally, exactly.
And stars like fucking whoever. It's very easy to imagine like a Robin Williams, Christopher Columbus version
Jim
of this
Carrey,
movie.
anyone. You can
Yeah.
imagine any comedy A-lister or,
Right.
B-plus lister.
But suddenly it's, a Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg movie. The budget gets much bigger. It becomes like a middle of summer event film.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the last times that like a
came
mild-mannered comedy was
June
like
18th.
submitted as like a summer blockbuster.
And it's like a rom-com, if you
Yeah.
think about it.
It's sort of a
Kinda.
rom-com,
It's
but then it turns
kinda-
out like not to be.
It's a deep. You know what it is? It's like this is the thing I think people forget that you can do. I hate to say, rom-com has taken on like this rom-com thing. You can like really have some weight
yes.
to a romantic comedy. Like there's
Yes, you
like
can.
moments that are like very heavy in this
course.
movie, but not too heavy that you're like, oh God, I need some napkins, I'm crying. But it's it is legit. Like he has a love interest.
Yeah.
Like there's a secondary love story in it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but it's almost a plot point that she disappears for like 20 minutes of the film at a time.
Yes,
it's,
right.
it's very spaced
Yes.
out. It's sort of like 1/4 of the movie is very focused on that.
But at this,
it's not a continuous fourth.
At this point, Catherine Zeta-Jones has just won an Oscar.
I think this is her direct follow-up.
No,
because
because Intolerable Cruelty,
Oh,
2003.
correct. Correct. And Ocean's 13 comes out. Ocean's 12 comes out
Ocean's 12.
2004.
Yeah, right. That's
That
around there.
comes out after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a good run, man. Where is Catherine
Okay,
Zeta-Jones?
can we
This is the end.
Yeah, can we pull up her filmography quickly? Because I was looking last night. I watched this movie very late in a bout of insomnia, and then was like, I gotta figure out Catherine Zeta-Jones' career because I remember
What she did was she stopped making movies.
Yeah.
She decided to stop.
Oh,
and
she
then
wanted
she couldn't
to.
come back. Yeah.
Well, I know one big thing that happened
She had
was
kids, yeah.
she had kids, and she also was fighting with bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
okay. I didn't
publicly
know
came
that.
out as a sufferer of bipolar disorder.
Yeah. And there was, when did Michael Douglas get cancer?
Oh, he battled cancer
There,
too.
there was
when was
there
that?
was
I
a
forget
really
when that was
tumultuous
now.
family period that I
Right.
think was like on either side of that.
Right.
She, I think, checked herself into treatment for a while.
I
then
vaguely
he got
remember
cancer,
that too. Yeah.
focused
He
on the
got
family.
cancer. Then he said he got cancer because he ate her out too much.
First
Yeah.
off, I remember
Which,
that.
like,
and I was
literally,
like-
he said that on like a red carpet.
I was
Right.
like, bruh, first off, I respect you for going down on your lady.
Hey,
Because
three cheers.
3 cheers for going down on your lady, but
But-
you just
100%.
tainted it by saying,
Yeah, right. Why
go-
is this where that's
Yeah.
being discussed?
But
Yeah.
also, and my thing is, even if it wasn't her specifically, it's like, oh, I probably ate too many vaginas when I was younger. It's like,
Yeah.
bruh, are we low key bragging? Or like,
right.
what are we?
Look, I get when you have cancer, you want to, God closes the door, he opens the window. You
Yeah,
want
right.
to find a silver lining
True,
somewhere,
very true.
right? So maybe like that was his
joke,
his
in it.
attempt.
But the weird wrinkle is I found out he
He had more than one weird wrinkle.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a reference to his age.
I'm trying to remember
love
what the two were, but he misrepresented which form of cancer he had.
Yeah,
Oh.
right.
He said he had like jaw cancer when he actually had tongue cancer or something. The cancer he had,
throat
if the
cancer.
surgery was botched, he never would have been able to talk again.
Oh.
But he didn't want to make that public because he didn't want to not be insurable as an actor. So he pretended it was a different type of cancer and came up with a reason why he got that type of cancer, which was like
Too much
HPV
cunnilingus, yeah.
cunnilingus.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it turned out the whole thing was
all right.
fucking
Okay. So here's Catherine Zeta-Jones. I'm going to run through her career for you guys real fast.
It's because it's insane.
Please.
So Catherine Zeta-Jones, she's a Welsh actress. She's in The Darling Buds of May. She's like some semi-well-known in Britain as like a young ingenue.
But isn't really taken seriously as an actor.
No, she's in a movie called Blue Juice with Ewan McGregor that is worth seeing because it is bonkers. But yeah.
But mostly she's cast in like
Blue
sex
Juice
pot
surfing
roles.
movie.
And she isn't
Well,
getting...
she's sex pot in Phantom. She's sex pot in Blue Juice.
Well, which is a tough part of being like, even more and more now, like, women's rights is like, when you actually think about it, right? If you're a beautiful actress in Hollywood, you will only get hot woman roles until like someone decides one day,
right?
It's like,
you
know
have
what?
some breakout where it's quote unquote serious performance or whatever.
And then the thing you have to like, but the thing about that is like usually it's like, think about Margot Robbie right now. She's playing like what is it, Tanya Harding? It's like she has on like the fat suit and stuff. Like that makes it real. And like you telling me like a pretty woman can't go through like some real shit. Like she has to. I don't know.
Well, I feel
it's
like you look
the
at
de-glam is what you're talking about.
But that's so unnecessary.
You look at
I
someone
don't
like
disagree.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer had a run in the 80s and 90s where she was one of the most beautiful women alive, but played real human beings.
Yeah,
Man.
that's
no
it.
one's ever going to beat Michelle
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't ugly her up. They didn't have to, like, de-glam her to make her, like, a serious woman. No. It was just like, here's a movie where she's playing a person, and that person happens to be as attractive as Michelle Pfeiffer.
And the thing about that is so interesting is, like, that is 2017.
Right.
And we're still talking about the same thing. And I know we're three dudes.
it's true, though. It's true.
And so it's tough, but it's like, yeah, man, like, all my friends who are actresses, and they're like, I got to do this role. And, like, I'm looking at the role, and it's like, oh, there's a sex scene in this? Why?
Right.
Why is there a sex scene in this movie? Like, what?
I look at this movie. I mean, I think this is a relevant conversation because this movie, I think, is sort of victim to that, where like Catherine Zeta-Jones is fresh off an Oscar and she gets to make like a Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg movie. Like, there's the brass ring. Like, that's what you want to win an Oscar for. And her role is entirely just about who she dates.
Absolutely.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Her role,
Is she's
and
bad
her
at
performance is not good, in my opinion, but her role is the disaster
She
at the
doesn't
center
get
of this movie.
She doesn't get anything
No.
to do because, like,
I'm not saying it's all her fault.
Yeah,
but
she's not needed because that character, they were like, oh, let's just have someone for him to, like, gawk at and, like, fall in love with.
Because their whole idea was, like, I think, like, it's this terminal, so it'll be this, like, organic world, and there'll be all these little storylines we can do.
Yeah.
And then their solution, or, like, how it ended up is, like, we kind of did a quarter of each storyline. Like, we gave like a little bit. We had like $1 and we split it 10 ways.
It's a very episodic movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but none of the. You're not like, oh, Diego Luna and Zoe Saldana. They figured it out. Those guys really have a connection.
I got questions about that.
Yeah. Let's build up to that one.
Okay,
But
so here's her career because I didn't even do her career yet.
Right. She's doing UK films.
Sure. And then the Phantom, 96, small part. 98, she makes The Mask of Zorro. Huge. Welsh actress playing a Spanish maiden, but she's Welsh. She's from the
it's crazy.
the
always
country
think,
of Wales. In Britain.
Wait, she's got to be from like
100%, 100% Welsh.
She's a Welsh lady, and like if you hear her,
I think it's Welsh, and then her father's Irish.
Yeah, that's correct. No, other way around. Father Welsh, mother Irish, Catholic. Yeah.
No, guys,
I always think
she's
she's got some Spanish in
She's
her.
from Mumbles, which is a town in Wales. Yes, guys, there's a town in Wales called Mumbles. If you hear her talk, she has like a thick Welsh accent. It's sanded down a little bit these days, but she's got what the
not
English.
Latina at all.
No, that's crazy, right?
Crazy, huh?
We're talking about Zorro, which takes place in.
Well, she plays Elena Montero.
No.
Yeah, man.
She's not Latina at all.
Not 1 bit. Neither is Anthony Hopkins, by the way.
Right. I spent a lot of time.
Also Welsh, by the way. Anthony Hopkins.
I spent a lot of time on the Zorro Wikipedia page last night.
Man.
And they cast originally Sean Connery to play the Anthony Hopkins role.
Makes sense.
And then the producer, Steven Spielberg was one of the producers on the movie. That was an Amblin picture. Announced they were like, okay, I know we cast a Scottish man first, but I promise you, every other actor in the film is going to be Spanish.
Right.
And then it was like Banderas and then a Welsh woman.
Like
they ended up casting two Welsh people.
I mean, look, she's great in the movie.
She's great.
She's great in the movie. No one would have ever seen that movie and thought oh, that's a white lady. That's a Welsh lady. They think she's Spanish. They think she's like Antonio Banderas.
I thought that until right now.
And here's
Elena Montero.
Here's a point I'd like to make about that performance.
Wow.
One of the rare instances where someone becomes a movie star from the trailer.
True.
I feel like they have the moment in the trailer where they're fencing, and then he does the scene in her dress, and she goes like this. And that moment was like so iconic, and everyone knew her name. Like before seeing the movie.
They knew her name because they put her name in the trailer, and it's a heck of a name.
It's a heck of a name.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is a good name.
It's a heck of a name. She's got a heck of a face, and that moment was funny.
And they actually made her powerful. The fact that she was fencing with him and was not scared.
Right.
For sure. It's a great
I'm about to
role.
watch
It's
that
a great movie.
Right. But then her next movie is Entrapment. Like goes straight from Zorro to Entrapment.
Right, which is just more of a like, yo, check out how hot Catherine Zeta-Jones is.
That's a movie where like the trailer, like everyone knew the fucking thing with her going under the lasers.
Mm-hmm.
She's above the title with Sean Connery. It was like it took her 2 American movies and she was already like a name.
And that
thing.
movie's a solid hit. Also that year she has The Haunting, which is a terrible movie.
Right.
But she is in it.
And that's a DreamWorks movie.
Is that right?
Haunting?
Because Spielberg apparently was the one who he saw her in the Titanic miniseries. He produced Zorro. Martin Campbell, who directed Zorro, was going to cast one of the women from Goldeneye. I forget who. Not Famke Janssen.
Isabella Scorpio.
Oh,
yes.
Isabella.
He was going to cast her, and then Spielberg was like, no, check out this Catherine Zeta-Jones. So Spielberg was kind of the one pushing her. He cast her in Zorro.
Yeah.
You know, he
whatever.
put her in the
You
Haunting.
need someone to have your back. I mean, that's kind of how this world works.
100%.
Of course, someone, a big shot likes you. Not to say that she's not talented.
Very
she's
talented.
Great in High Fidelity the next year, where she
she
plays
was
someone who's
great.
full of shit, which I think she's really good at.
That was a great role.
And then that year she also has Traffic, which is, you know, the beginning of her, like, serious actress, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's crazy. That's like her 3rd year of being an American star.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing High Fidelity and Traffic. In both films, she's playing like good supporting roles.
Yeah,
and
solid
everyone's
supporting
like,
roles.
oh, we all know Catherine Zeta-Jones. Now let her show us her range.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was like her career was like a fucking rocket.
Yeah.
Like so fast before she got into like, I'm already redefining what the Catherine Zeta-Jones persona is.
Then 01, America's Sweethearts. Whatever.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Made some money.
Yeah,
but no one remembers that movie. 02, Chicago, wins an Oscar.
Wow. I mean, that, dude.
Shows off she can sing and dance.
5
you know.
years after her
Bruh.
Zorro debut.
I remember that
She
movie
wins the
so-
Oscar. She was pregnant. Like, you know, she was like a sweetheart when she won the Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, everyone liked, you know, she was like so happy.
And we take
like,
out the big rubber stamp and we go movie star. Here she
Yeah.
is, officially anointed movie star.
03, there's the Sinbad cartoon, but forgetting that.
let's-
No, we
03,
ain't doing that.
Intolerable Cruelty, which I think she's not bad in.
I think she's very good.
I'm a big fan of that movie. I don't think she's why it's good, but she's fine.
Is that the George Clooney one too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like
the
that
Coen
movie.
Brothers movie, but it's a relative flop.
Uh-huh.
This year she's got The Terminal and Ocean's 12,
Right.
neither of which pop.
Now, I remember that she publicly fires her agent before these 2 movies come out because she said that he didn't capitalize on her Oscar enough.
He probably
it's
didn't.
Like, but on the other hand, you're in a Spielberg movie and you're in an Ocean
Coen
sequel.
Brothers movie or in another Soderbergh movie.
The thing is,
Right.
all of those things on paper seemed great.
But
It's
none
like-
of them worked for her.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, that's one of those things that actors, like,
Yeah.
you don't know.
You don't know.
It's like, because Ocean's, the first one, was so big.
No, I mean, it all makes
No
logical
one knew the
sense.
sequel was
right.
gonna be
why
what it
didn't-
was.
Why don't
Right.
you do a Spielberg movie, obviously?
Yeah.
05, she makes The Legend of Zorro, which is a disaster.
Right.
The sequel to Zorro.
Which they
really
should
bad
never have
movie.
done. No,
Never
she
should have
never
made
done
it.
it. She never
She
done
has
it.
nothing to do in it because
Right.
she's just married with a kid.
The
Like,
kid has
and
more to do than she does.
Yeah.
That
true.
movie makes like every mistake a sequel could
Yeah.
make. You know, it
Yeah.
really does. Takes a break. In 07, No Reservation comes out. No Reservation. So I think it had been filmed a while back. The cooking movie with Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a fucking 2-year break.
Yeah.
Not on screens, and that's her last like big studio.
Well, there's
above the
also,
title
let's
movie.
not forget, Death Defying Acts.
What
That-
is that?
I repeat, that's her
It's
last
the Harry
big
Houdini movie.
studio
Yeah.
I gotta look that one
above
up.
the title
with
movie.
Guy Pearce. And then in
Barely was released here. Saoirse
Yeah.
Ronan's first movie.
In 09, there's that movie The Rebound, in which the plot is she fucks Justin Bartha.
Yep.
And then in 12...
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah,
What?
man.
But
I mean,
you know,
another
no
one
offense
that...
to Justin Bartha, but what movie is
Well,
this?
you know what that movie is.
Go ahead.
That movie is directed by Burt Frenlich,
Yes.
who is Julianne Moore's husband,
Yep.
is much younger than her, was a director.
So it's just him talking about his relationship with Julianne Moore?
when he was in his 20s and he got to fuck and then eventually marry one of the most beautiful,
You know,
interesting women on
good for him.
earth.
Glad he got to not only do that, but then make a movie
Right,
about
who
it.
needs to hear that story?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want us to applaud you more?
2012, she's in Rock of Ages, you
Right.
know, sort of a small role. I guess she's fine. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that movie's
Yeah,
awful.
movies.
But look at that gap of years where she's not
I
really
know.
doing
I mean, and I'm
anything.
forgetting like Lave the Favorite that barely came
That's the
out.
thing, all these
Broken
movies-
City that was
Right.
sort of
Where
forgotten.
the fuck is this shit going?
She's in Side Effects. She's bad.
I
Like,
think she's good inside.
no, she's horrible.
I think she's good
I've never
inside.
seen Side Effects.
good movie, but she's
I dig it.
terrible.
Yeah.
She's in Red 2.
I've
yeah,
seen one of her movies we skipped over.
Which one?
Playing for Keeps.
Oh, Playing for Keeps with Jerah. Why have you seen that movie?
Guys, listen, this is the thing.
That's not a real movie.
I secretly, my
Jessica
movie.
Biel, Dennis Quaid.
Yo, my movie love goes on random tangents. So like I would start off as an action hero, like action kind of guy. Now I'm like big on happy, romantic kind of movies. And I'm like, you know what? Need a little joy in life. But then I watch some of these movies and I'm like, oh, God, life is so sad.
Not joyful.
The director of Pursuit of Happiness. Playing for
Gabriel,
Keeps.
right.
Muccino.
That's the soccer movie?
I don't think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gerard Butler
Gerard
plays
Butler.
a Scottish soccer player who's a has-been.
But that's her career.
That's her career. This year she appeared in Dad's Army, which will probably never come out here. But it was a British homage to a sitcom. And that's, it's like...
She's such a good actress.
That's
like, where are these roles?
She
did.
The stage
give her credit.
So
she won a Tony on stage
that's true.
in
Little Night Music?
Little Night Music, which she was god-awful in. She gave one of the most hilariously bad performances I've ever seen in the Tony Awards, and then won the Tony, and everyone was like, what? Like that one? That's the one where she goes, there ought to be clowns. When she sings Send in the Clowns. You remember?
Yeah. No, I never
I
saw
don't
it.
remember
I
that at all.
believe you. Yeah. She's due for a comeback.
Yo, she is, and she's actually a good actress.
She is.
It's
She
tough.
can
She
be
can
a good
be.
actress, in
She
my
can be
opinion.
a very good
Everybody, but the thing about that is like we've all seen movies where like, that wasn't the best. Like, I mean, I freaking love Meryl Streep and I love Daniel Day-Lewis, but what was that movie, 13? When he was singing 9, and I was like,
you gave that 4 more numbers than it needed.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 9.
I
like,
give it about a 2.
and I'm like, Daniel Day-Lewis is the legend, and it's like, hey, we all have a bad
I think
stretch.
Everyone involved with 9 would probably be like, you know what? Maybe if I could go back in time, could take 9 off
Can we
the
take
old
a mulligan
resume.
on that one? I just posted on Facebook the other day. I was like, hey, everyone forgets that Daniel Day-Lewis did a musical.
He did a musical. He
did a
sang.
musical.
It's really weird.
Kind of danced.
His voice is good.
Voice
he
is
doesn't
not bad at
fit
all.
that role well at all.
Weird choice for the role, although I could see where they're going. I mean, the problem with that movie is the director, not Daniel Day-Lewis, but the whole thing was odd.
Yeah.
But it did happen, and it did get 4 Oscar nominations.
Yes.
It got 4?
Yeah, including Best Supporting Actress.
Which everyone forgets.
Yep.
So here are a few other interesting career things in this movie, okay? Before we start talking about the plot. One is that this is one of the last, fully DreamWorks Spielberg
Yes,
productions.
it is. Right. After this, he starts...
They start becoming partnerships with other studios, and then DreamWorks itself starts becoming a little shingle under other studios.
Which we talk about. We'll talk
in other
about,
episodes. But this is maybe the last full-force, DreamWorks fully financed Spielberg movie. The other thing is, Tom Hanks was coming off of a run of 7 consecutive $100 million plus grossers.
You want me to run it down for you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you take out That Thing You Do, which he directed but only had a small part in,
I'm not going to involve that one.
if you take that out and go only starring roles, I think the run becomes 12.
Here's the run. Forrest Gump, 94. Apollo 13, 95. Toy Story, 95. Let's forget That Thing You Do. Saving Private Ryan, 98. You've got Mail, 98. Toy Story 2, 99. The Green Mile, 99. Castaway, 2000. Road to Perdition just sneaks over 100.
Just tiptoes to 100.
2002. Catch Me If You Can, 2002. Now, you're wrong because The Lady Killers comes out this year.
I'm saying this
But
year.
I understand
he had
what you're
the 2
saying.
falls.
Wait, so those are 10? First off,
10. That was 10.
yo, first off, those movies.
And they're all
are
pretty famous
great
movies.
Yes.
Movies.
Yes.
How do you pick?
Yeah.
How do you know on paper?
Yeah.
Hanks is good, man.
Because some of those are weird choices.
Castaway could have been a. Yo,
Yes.
Castaway could have bombed.
Yes.
That's very true.
Yes.
Think about Castaway. Honestly, Catch Me If You Can, if you think about it in retrospect, it's we knew who Leonardo DiCaprio was, but Leonardo DiCaprio wasn't the Leo that, he did, he did, was eating Gilbert Grape, so he got that Oscar nom, but it's he wasn't
That was coming off of The Beach.
yeah, he was
everyone was
not,
is he washed up?
yeah. How do you pick that?
And Hank's also taking a supporting role as the fucking fun killer in that movie.
We just talked about Catch Me If You Can. Now, I also want to mention, if you go before Forrest Gump, Philadelphia doesn't make $100 million, but he wins an Oscar.
Philadelphia is freaking.
It wins an Oscar,
wins
it does
right.
well, and before that is Sleepless in Seattle, and before that is A League of Their Own. So
Right.
it's really from the whole 90s,
Insane.
he basically ran the table.
Right.
How? How do you pick? That is
Tom
great,
Hanks, man.
And then 2004, it collapses. The record.
The Lady
just
Killers comes out and is a flat out bomb.
Yes.
I mean,
Who
for
directed
Coen
that?
Brothers, the
Coen
Coen
Brothers.
Coen
Brothers.
Brothers.
For
He has a
Coen
Coen Brothers movie and a Spielberg movie, and that's the year that ends the run.
He's really good in The Lady Killers. He's
He
really
is.
He
funny.
is.
It's
He
an
is.
odd
Really funny
movie,
in that.
but
Yeah.
it is an interesting
Well, the
one.
movie is weird because, the Coen Brothers has
It's
this
the
thing
only
where,
movie the Coen Brothers made that has black people.
I
in it.
was about to say. It was the only movie they ever had black people
With
in.
multiple. I mean, there are black people in Coen Brothers movies, but it's the only one where I can think of more than one.
The only only
substantial
one
part of the cast.
Yeah, the only one
Yes.
that really, like, me and John talk about this all the time. We always talk about, which is still one of my favorite movies. So I'm like, whatever. The one with George Clooney, and it is like, oh my goodness,
Subject to Entertainer is an intolerable cruelty.
is he?
Nail your
Yeah.
ass. Nail your
He
ass.
is.
Yes, that's all
He's
he
funny.
says is he's going to nail your ass.
He's funny,
I'm gonna
though.
nail your
He's-
ass.
he's
He's
good
really
at
funny in
intolerable
it.
I always
Yeah.
think about
You thinking
oh my
about
goodness.
Oh Brother Where Art
Oh, Brother,
Thou?
Where Art
with
Thou?
Robert Johnson.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like we're like, oh, they show like the chain gang and it's all people of color, and then just the three white dudes, and we're like,
And they're the ones who
Yeah.
escape, and
they're
they
the
don't
ones who
even
get
get
out.
shot.
And then wants to get out.
That's where the camera stops.
Right? And
Look,
the camera stops right at
just
this.
moving past all.
All the black
Yeah,
people was
right.
like, oh, there they go.
Yeah.
But like when you watch Lady Killers, it's like it's a lot of things wrong. Marlon Wayans' character is
Very
wrong.
strange.
Is a disaster.
Very
It's just
strange.
wrong. Like
that's the biggest problem with that movie.
It is wrong.
Although Zima's character is a problem too. I mean, that
Oh.
movie's
Yeah.
weird.
And the thing is, think
It's a
about
weird
this, like,
movie. Why they shoot? Irma P. Hall's very funny.
Very
yeah,
good.
but it's tricky
Yeah.
because it's like even now, like there are roles that like I have said no to that some of my
Yes.
friends have done, and it's like, who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I? But it's like, imagine being Marlon Wayans here, like Tom Hanks. Like,
Yeah, but I think
it's
it's
the
one of those
Coen
things-
brothers.
Coen
Like, you know, I
brothers.
think
You
it's like, yeah, the
question it?
Coen brothers come to you and you're like, wow, these guys know what they're doing, right? They'll make it work.
Yeah,
Like maybe on the page it looks weird.
If
I don't
it
know.
seems
like,
offensive to me, I must be misinterpreting it.
Yeah.
I trust these guys. They've never gotten a bad
Marlon
performance.
Wayans is a funny guy though,
It
because like
is,
he's
yeah.
given some great performances.
Yeah,
He's given
yeah.
some bad performances.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
how do you say no to that? Like, there's
Yeah.
like there's a bit that I said no to. Like now, I kind of regret, but I'm like, I don't really, because I'm like, I won't play no thug anymore.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
God,
But
he
yeah.
had a good run. Damn, Tom
Really
Hanks.
good run. But yeah, this is the end of the run. I mean, after this, it's ups and downs. You know,
Yeah.
he makes these two movies. They both bomb. Then Polar Express comes out the end of that year, which does weirdly well. Then he doesn't make a movie in 05. Then he does Da Vinci Code in 06. And from that point out, the Tom Hanks run is like over.
It's weird.
Like he stops being just like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, now he
All-American
becomes Tom
hero.
Hanks,
in this
character actor who
Right.
also makes the Da Vinci Code movies or whatever. You know,
Right.
like who will make some blockbusters, but
it's-
not too
But
many.
it's weird because the Da Vinci Code, the first one did well because it was like the first one. It was huge.
Yeah.
And
Second one
then
does okay.
yeah, I mean they do well because they made what 3 or 4 of them now, right?
Yeah,
Made
the third one
three. The third
bombed.
one was a huge disaster.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, even was it Captain Phillips did well. He
Hugely
got an
well.
Oscar nomination for
Yeah.
Captain Phillips.
He didn't.
He
He
didn't.
did.
That was
He
the
got-
big thing.
It was rude.
Well, he got to go.
He was
He got
snubbed.
something, didn't he? He got a
Yeah,
SAG.
but he
Go
was
to-
snubbed.
No, he got some
He
precursors.
got them
All
precursors.
right, we're getting off track.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Terminal.
You're
I'm
right.
going to keep you guys
Terminal.
on track.
Right. Okay.
The Terminal.
Mhm.
So you wanted to note that it's the last DreamWorks movie. Was there
Yes.
anything else you wanted to note there? It's written by Jeff Nathanson, who wrote Catch Me If You Can,
Right.
along with Sasha Gervasi, who's in whatever.
And like a lot of the films that we've talked about in this miniseries, Spielberg was like acquiring stories or source material or spec scripts for DreamWorks, and then would just keep them around and be like, do I want someone else to direct this? Do I want to direct this?
Right.
And at one point sort of batted around. There's a real story of a guy who was stuck
Ron
in Charles de Gaulle
Kamiri
airport.
Nasseri.
Yes.
I believe he's still there to this day.
No,
no. He finally got out
in 07.
in 07, right after the movie comes out. Yeah. But Spielberg paid $250,000 to buy his life rights.
They are not mentioned in this movie.
He's not mentioned in any way. They didn't mention him in the press. They didn't mention him in the fucking DVD special features, any of that, but they bought the rights. Good. I guess he had $250,000 to spend in an airport.
Yeah.
Apparently he got sick. I read it. For some reason, I got so involved with this guy.
You know,
I read
he
that
got sick, and that
he
was
got
what got him
sick.
out.
Finally
Yeah,
got
he
out.
got sick, so now
Yeah.
he's like in
A train station.
yeah, like he's basically like near the airport still, and like kind of. They described it as like a holding kind of place, and I'm like, yo, this dude still doesn't have a home.
It's a sad
Since
situation.
'88.
It's a sad
It's
situation.
But yeah, they very loosely inspired by that.
Sure.
And they sort of take this, a bunch of writers, Andrew Niccol, who wrote The Truman Show,
Yep.
Sasha Gervasi, who later did Anvil, the documentary.
I don't like Sasha Gervasi.
I don't either.
But it was, I remember it was initially announced that Niccol was writing it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Andrew Niccol. He likes to play around with like modern sort of dystopic ideas.
Right.
A man trapped in an airport. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
do a lot with this.
From the director of Gattaca, it's like there's a lot of
you know,
potential.
there's
Yeah.
some weird
Yeah.
kind of like, what is the state? What
Right.
is a country?
And Truman Show, you get into like, this artificial life, this artificial like
Right.
civilization.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But then I think where Spielberg and Nathanson and people decide to go with is like, no, we want to make this sort of like high concept comic sort of thing, like, almost like an old Chaplin movie or a Jacques Tati movie,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah.
it's sort of like very broad and very global, like, sort of like a global movie.
Sure. The one I kept thinking of, I mean, they say that, the airport's directly modeled after
On Playtime.
Playtime,
yes,
the Jacques Tati movie, and the sort of sense of the urgency and the hustle bustle. Playtime's also largely a silent film.
Yeah.
So it's not really
it's
a
horseshit.
good comparison.
The airport set is modeled on airports. It looks like an airport.
It looks like an airport.
Right.
That's what it looks like. It looks like an ordinary airport with like a Brookstone in it.
But crazy stat, and a Dean DeLuca, which would never be in an airport.
It is a bit of an odd choice for an airport.
Yeah.
I read this crazy fucking thing where the entire terminal is a built set, which is insane.
Right. The movie's
built
budget
the
was
whole
$60 million. They took an airport hangar and built a set in it.
Right.
And that's like almost all of the budget because,
Right.
I mean, the rest is, it's a pretty simple movie.
I feel like they made back. I feel like the budget is lower than it is
because of sponsorship.
They must have gotten.
You know,
you
all
see
those
Starbucks
brands.
in that thing.
You see
Burger
Burger
King.
King. You know, like,
first off, before we get into this thing,
Yeah.
okay, my man goes to Burger King with 75 cents.
Yep. Bullshit.
Gets a burger and a penny back.
I was trying to remember
Nope.
this. But I'm interested. In 2004,
No.
you don't think Burger King had like a
No,
74?
no. Let me tell you how I know. Let me tell you how I know.
Please tell
Because
me.
I was a Burger Kinger over a McDonald'ser. Okay.
Yep.
So I was like, if I was in high school,
I was
at this
fickle.
point,
I was fickle.
Yeah.
I went between them.
I wanted Wendy's. Okay, but I couldn't afford Wendy's because Wendy's was $129 for a burger. Okay.
It's the champagne of fast food.
McDonald's-
The champagne was
McDonald's,
Wendy's.
It was a straight buck, right? It was 99 cents.
99 cents.
Yeah, right.
Burger King was too, but they had to go down in prices. Burger King was a little bit over. Burger King was like 110.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not, even if you're not going with 75 cents and get a penny back.
Okay, but
Nothing
look,
under $1.
Look, I just got in airports.
Yeah.
Taxes are weird. Maybe I'm
Things
struggling
cost
here.
more.
Yes,
Like
yes,
everything
thank
costs
you.
way more in the
Why,
airport.
why not just have him give them 4 quarters?
Just give them
It
4
would make
quarters.
more sense anyway.
Why
Yes, it
give the penny back?
People buy
The
that
penny
a movie
back is
and that
the
a burger
fuck you
would
moment.
cost 70. Would cost 99 cents.
My
They don't
man-
buy that it costs 74.
My man went there with like $5 worth of quarters and got a tray full of food.
It's like 6 Whoppers.
I was like, what is this?
And a salad?
You can't get that now, and they now got discounts.
Nonsense.
Don't do that to me.
All right.
Well, that sort of gets to this
Very
point,
true.
which is
It's very
Spielberg
true.
really wanted to make a fantastical movie
When's
that
the last
had no
time
grounding.
Spielberg bought a burger? That's at Burger King. That's the
Himself?
real question.
Never.
You know, he's like George H.W. Bush, like not knowing how much milk costs
Right.
when
Oh,
he's like
yeah.
running for president. He's
mean-
like, what's a burger? It's, 70 cents?
And if this movie was real, okay, they would have had him get a Hershey Sundae pie from Burger King. Not trying to do a promo, but that damn pie is so good, okay? If you got an extra $1, you getting the
That's
pie.
what you're getting.
You're
That's
getting
what
the
you're
pie.
getting. Especially if you haven't eaten for that long. You
Exactly.
want to treat yourself, you're getting the
You're
pie.
getting that pie.
You're getting
Okay.
the pie.
I'm back on page.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted to make like a Lubitsch movie. Like his idea
yeah.
was like, how do I make this light touch film that exists on like an emotional level? You don't have to really deal with the reality of how the situation would
Yeah.
work. But Spielberg, even when he tries to make something with a light touch, the touch is a little heavy. Like he's such
Agreed.
a stylist, and he's got
yeah.
all these weird obsessions. Like he'll funnel into a moment and burrow into it. That isn't just like, oh, this is the moment where this comedy gets a little serious. It's like this is a moment where I have to think about the reality way too much.
Yeah.
Dude,
This
this movie is... It's like a lot of interesting ideas, and none of them are executed
But
right,
it's like
in my
neither
opinion.
fish nor fowl because
Yeah.
you go like, there's a version of this movie that's less intelligent that works better because it's just
Oh,
here's
a
a
high,
stupid
wacky comedy,
Yeah.
yes.
And there's a version of this movie that's actually trying to explain what it's like to be this guy in this situation. And not that it couldn't be funny, but like really make it work. And this
Yeah.
isn't that either.
No.
It's tricky because, again, like I picked this movie because I liked it. And it's tricky because like I like certain things about it. But I totally agree there's a lot happening. And I felt like I feel like sometimes like you ever meet somebody who's like too smart? It's like their brain is going so fast that
Of
you're
course,
like,
yes, right.
you're
so
like,
they're
hey,
they're saying too many things to you at once, so
and
they're
it's like,
they're
yo,
going on too many tangents.
you're saying all the right stuff,
Yeah.
but you're not saying the one cohesive thing. And I felt like, for instance, there was a good story, like Victor's story was great. Even oh my goodness, even Stanley Tucci's character,
Yes.
at the end of the day, was a guy who was just trying to do his job.
My
you
problem,
know?
one of my big problem with the movies is Stanley Tucci's character because he's 80% of the way to being the right character.
80%, but
And
it's
then
like,
they decide
You need a villain.
No, he's a villain. He has
need a
no
villain.
reason to hate Tom Hanks, and he suddenly decides to hate him.
But it falls into this pick a lane thing where it's like you could make the movie where you aren't a humanist about it and the guy's just a clear-cut villain from the beginning. And the
Sure,
whole
he
movie
just
he's an
represents like
antagonist.
the state.
Right. He's Principal Rooney and fucking
He's
Ferris
just
Bueller.
red tape.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or you make the version of the movie where it's like, this is a guy whose hands are tied and he's struggling with this as much as
Right.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And instead they go back and forth. And you talking about like dudes who are too smart. That's how I feel about this movie where it's like sometimes Spielberg is fully thinking something through at the top of his intelligence. And certain things in this movie feel like Spielberg shrugging, going like, I don't know, I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, but you can't play dumb, Spielberg. Like,
Yeah.
Right, but he kind of is.
Yeah, but we know you're
Okay.
able to think these things through.
But like, let me take you through Tucci's arc,
Please.
In this, all right. So
Please.
he's in charge of the airport,
Yeah.
but he has his boss, who plays him again. You know,
Jude Chicocello?
no, Jude Chicocello is the contractor.
Oh, right. Yes.
Oh,
right, right,
yeah.
right.
Eddie Jones,
Yes.
right? Who was on Lois and Clark.
Congratulations.
To him,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
good
That's a
TV
TV
he
show.
was
That's a big gig for him. Yeah.
Paquin. And so I guess his boss is retiring, so he kind of wants his boss's job.
Right.
So I guess the motivation initially is like he wants to toe the line. He wants to do a good job.
Right.
Yeah.
He keeps this guy in the airport. He publicly humiliates him and is chided for it by his boss,
Yeah.
who says like, come on, man, like
Sometimes you gotta be
this is a
man.
real job, and you got the rules are not just the rules.
You
In
gotta-
response to this, he decides to like enforce the rules more effective,
Right.
be harsher.
Because
Yeah.
Tucci goes like, sometimes, I'm just trying to follow the rules. And the
The
boss
guy-
is
the
like,
boss literally says like, it's okay, like you can bend the rules.
he's like,
Yes.
the job's about people.
About
Do
people.
you get it?
It's about, you
And
can
that
learn something from
Tucci,
him.
who
That should be
seems
the
to
moment where he
venerate this man,
realizes- yeah.
ignores his boss,
Right.
is meaner to Hanks, gets the job,
Yes.
and then decides to be even meaner to Hanks.
Right,
Yes.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
You
Yes.
expect the scene after the boss to
He's
be...
a petty man. Like, I mean,
right. You expect the scene after the boss to be him apologizing.
Yes.
And instead it's him going to him and going like, you fucked me over, so now we're
Right.
both stuck in hell together.
Yeah,
I will
you
make
will
it my
never
life's mission.
leave.
You're
Yes.
never escaping.
Which makes no sense.
Now
You
it's a
want him
vendetta.
out.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, how did he fuck him over? Like,
He didn't fuck him over.
What
Yeah.
exactly did he do? You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Like, he's just trying to get out. I think the mere fact that's so creepy. If you think about this in retrospect, is like everyone's watching Victor on these security cams throughout
Right.
the whole
Sure, right.
movie.
They become like fascinated with his
Like
behaviors.
he's just behavior in
Yeah.
life. And my thing is, if you look, you're now the power of the airport.
Mhm.
And if you say this guy can go, he can go, right? You want this guy to go, you can easily escort him out and never have to think about it again.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
You trap him in a room that has nothing but like, was it cots and a toilet
Pretty much.
for no
You basically put him in jail.
for
Yeah.
no apparent reason.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm like, they just decided like, oh man, we don't have a conflict. Let's
No,
add
that's
one.
exactly it.
Let's add one.
And like
Yes. That is the problem with this movie
And
because...
they
what are you
want
gonna say?
they
Yeah.
want some reason for him to not leave. Like
Yes.
they decided like it makes no sense that Hanks wouldn't just leave.
Right.
So they need, but like they did it wrong. They came up with the wrong
Well,
reasons.
the way they do it is like, oh, he's not good at picking up on subtlety. Tucci's trying to give him outs, and he
no,
doesn't do it.
but then Hanks resists. Then
Hanks says
Victor,
no. Right.
Victor
Oh, yes.
goes. He says, "I'm staying. I'm
I
staying."
want to do it legally.
because he gets that. Yeah, if he leaves, then he's in the hands of immigration or whatever. And
Yeah.
like his life could be worse.
Look, I would say I cannot think of a modern actor who is better at playing frustration than Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci's great in the movie.
He's great.
Stanley Tucci's a great actor.
Right.
He's doing a great job with a crappy character.
As written, this is like such a good Stanley Tucci character, but this should not have been a Stanley Tucci character. I think if the whole point of the movie is that there are governments, worldwide global machinations at play that are bigger than anyone in this movie, right? Way above the pay grade of the highest ranking character we see in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why not make the movie like a fucking Tom Hanks, Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies type relationship, where it's like the Tucci character is a guy who's trying to find a way to get him out and his hands are tied. Not that he's the antagonist, but that it's like he's trying to find a loophole and they're working together.
Can I toss out and I love Stanley Tucci, one of my favorite actors.
He's
but
great.
I feel like Catherine Zeta-Jones could have had that part.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad idea.
Little more
That is
progressive.
not
I
a
feel
bad
like if Catherine Zeta-Jones would have had that part. And the thing is, now you take out, and I don't think this movie, now I'm thinking about it, is actually a rom-com.
Yeah.
So I think like they didn't need him to have a love story, period.
No.
So let's
they
get
did
that.
not.
Let's get that shit
Get
out
that
of here.
outta here.
Let's
You
get
know,
outta
you know
here.
what you maybe replace the love story with? Little more talk about jazz before the last 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Where his life's mission is revealed.
Yeah.
I know.
Swear to just layer that in.
I
And
know.
they treat it like it's going to be such a drop that like the planner's can is like Rosebud and the whole movie
Yeah,
you're going
they
like,
keep going, what's in the can?
Right.
And he's like, oh, it's Art Kane's famous photo of Harlem jazz musicians from the 50s.
yeah, and that's also pretty sweaty to go like, my dad saw this photo and liked the photo so much that he wanted all the autographs. Not, my dad listened to this record and liked the musicians
Why don't you
so
have
much.
him overhearing jazz in the airport and maybe being like suddenly displaying some
well,
kind of like awareness or
Wait.
expertise about it?
When he does construction, he's always listening to jazz.
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
He's always listening.
That is
it's
true.
It's never
Never
honestly,
addressed.
It's
but
never
it's-
addressed.
I mean, until the end.
And I didn't even think about it until now. You're bringing it up because I was like, why is always his jazz when he's doing stuff? Like, where's? I was like, and the thing is, it was one part because I couldn't notice the headphones. I'm like, does he have a boombox we don't know about, or is this playing in the airport?
How does he build that fucking fountain? Also,
Yo,
it's a mosaic.
yo, no
he builds
clue.
like a subway.
No clue.
Wall.
Where did the piece? Yo, listen. I like it. I don't have answers for you guys.
Let's go to the beginning of this movie, okay?
Beginning of the movie.
Opening's kind of well done.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hubbub. I mean, it's Spielberg doing a
Let
really
me tell you
good
my
job
favorite
of-
things about the movie.
Yeah.
Opening minute, closing credits. Love those credits.
Credits and credits are great. In
With
this
the
movie.
one thing is-
autographs.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, when the airport, when it's like delayed arriving, I haven't seen an old school like
Yeah.
in an airport. I've seen them at train stations, and I'm like, first off, this is New York City.
Yeah.
We don't have this shit.
They don't
We
have
go
it.
digital, baby.
Yeah,
That's
we go
true.
digital before anyone else.
Yeah, we go digital.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that slide, but I'm like, I get what they were going for. And I
He
was like,
wanted,
okay.
he wanted the
The
romantic
Spielberg touch.
Yeah.
Spielberg.
The whimsy of the
Victor-
clacking. Yeah.
Victor Navorsky arrives in JFK.
Yeah.
Passport gets declined.
Krakozhia.
He's from Krakozhia. He's taken to an office by Stanley Tucci and Barry Shabaka Henley.
Mhm.
But even the very opening of this, I like with like there's quick cut in cross action between like Hanks waiting to get stamped and Tucci on the monitors looking for problems, and he goes, "Oh, look at that group! They're all wearing the Disney shirts.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw an Asian group without a camera?" And it's like,
Yeah.
racial profiling.
Oh yeah, that's
weird.
true. That I forgot about that.
does
Right, because
that.
like
Right.
Tucci's like showing off what an expert he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, bunch of Chinese with no camera. What are you fucking kidding
Yeah,
me?
someone
Yeah.
suspicious.
Someone go down there. Someone, let me go
Right.
down there, right?
And then they're running around. There's like a sort of chase happening.
It's
in the
like
background.
Hanks in shallow focus trying to answer these questions
Right.
from like the guard, the security officer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
And in the background you just see all this hullabaloo of the arrest happening, which is like
He's
kind
played
of
by what's his name, Corey Reynolds, right? Like
Right.
the security. It's because he comes back, Corey Reynolds.
he was Seaweed in the original production of Hairspray,
Oh.
fair enough.
which I believe I saw twice on Broadway. So
I thought I knew a lot of movie and TV facts. You
He's
guys
in,
know a
he
lot.
Was, he was
okay,
in
let
like
me
Straight
step
Outta
up.
We go
Compton.
hard.
He
We
was
go
in
hard.
Red Tail. He's like been around. I know
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
He's not like a. Yeah, I remember that he was in.
He was in Red Tails with, why I forget his name now, Elijah Kelly, who was the movie version
Who's fucking great.
of Seaweed. Yeah.
Yep.
All three guys who have played Seaweed in big productions.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Mhm.
Anyway, he gets called in to Tucci's office.
Yep.
And this is like minute 5. Like the movie's moving fast.
Yeah.
Tucci is trying to explain it to him. Tom Hanks is doing the kind of like yes, but like doesn't seem to know.
Listen,
what's
I
going
would
on.
say when I was in
Krakozhia.
Paris, I couldn't understand French, and
Mhm.
like that
It's
was
hard.
legit what I was going through. I was like,
Sure.
I
hard.
don't know what's happening. Like, what are you saying? And it's just, I could feel for him at this point, guys.
I once triggered an international incident in Paris because it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Wait,
I didn't
no,
ha-
wait, no,
I didn't
no.
have a stamp in my passport. Because I have a British passport and an American
Humble brag.
passport.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I was
Look at
leaving.
you.
I had flown into Britain
Uh-huh.
on, and then taken the train from Britain to Paris. And I was leaving Paris with my American passport. They open my passport. They don't see a stamp, for getting into France. And like they immediately, they were about to arrest me. Like they lost their minds. They couldn't believe it. And they were yelling at me in French.
You thought they were going to take your planner's can.
How'd you get out of it?
I produced my British passport, and they were like, "Oh, don't do that again."
Oh, I thought
It wasn't that interesting a story.
I was say like some Batman type shit. It's like I had to go, had to call somebody, they had to come down.
Yeah, I was skylifted out of there.
This is my first question for you guys.
Uh-huh.
I
Don't you think Stanley Tucci's a little rude, summoning up the civil war of his home country, but with an apple
so
smashing a bag of potato chips
Yeah.
So
all
disrespectful.
over him?
yeah,
too.
the
So
monologue
dis-
that I delivered. Yeah. And also ruining a bag of potato chips. Didn't he want to eat those?
Ruin
So
a bag of
disrespectful.
potato chips.
So disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
He gets the chips on Victor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rude.
So
Or at
disrespectful.
least have them go just sort of in another direction.
Yeah. And it also that didn't help. It didn't clarify.
Doesn't help at all. He's like
No.
Krakozhia. Bam. Like he doesn't get
So
it.
disrespectful.
Yeah. What's happening in Krakozhia? They're bursting everyone's potato chip bags? What is
Yeah.
going on?
Also, you don't have like someone who can speak. There's no translators
Also-
at this airport.
Isn't it a civil war? What's the apple? It's more that the bag of potato chips is consuming itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like exploding from the inside. There's no
Right.
apple.
Right. That's not a good depiction of a political coup. Like a takeover.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But here's my question for you guys, and it's like I don't know how you do this properly.
Yeah.
It's a really fine line to walk, but especially in the first 30 minutes of this movie, I feel like Hanks comes off very dumb.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
he comes
part
off.
of it, yes.
He's playing more of a Chaplin-esque character,
Right.
which is, just the dumb foreigner.
And now
who's
a
like,
lot of it is, yes.
Krakozhia, Big Apple.
Any movie where you've written that one character doesn't speak the language that every other character is speaking, and you have like the lack of communication, the loss in translation element, of course it's going to be like the obliviousness and whatever. But I feel like every time they say something to him, he misinterprets it with a smile and then like repeats a bunch of shit.
Right.
Which makes him seem like a little slow.
Yeah, makes him seem slow.
yeah,
They're very
yeah.
serious. He's being taken into an office by a cop.
Yeah.
He's talking to like you'd think he might know, like, oh, this isn't routine. Like, this doesn't usually happen when you arrive in America.
Yeah.
Like, he can't pick up on physical cues at all. It's the one thing that he's like not understanding the language they're
here's
speaking
my
to
other
him.
question.
Yeah.
Where's the Krakozhian translator?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There should have been someone who could. This is my thing, and I did not like
The
the
government.
First half
If you don't
of this
have,
movie, really.
if you don't have someone in there, you can call a number and get someone on the phone who speaks it. Like
ASAP.
America does employ translators.
Yeah.
A very easy job.
Yeah.
A very easy job. But the thing that's so interesting is, like, I think, again, hate to rewrite the movie, but it would have been better served if he could understand some
Yes.
English.
Yeah, right
A
from the
little more.
start.
From the very start.
Especially since
because
we
he
need to
comes
buy
off dumb.
that he knows the weird thing
Yeah.
where it's like he can't leave, but he has to stay in the airport lounge. Like, it's a hard thing to sell.
Yeah.
And it also means that later in the movie, when he picks up a People magazine that is in both Caucasian and English, that he's able to learn the entire language quickly.
Yeah.
that
It's
was,
like if he already was kind of half the way there,
Yeah.
him becoming more fluent would be a lot easier to digest than him going from knowing 5 words to knowing like the entire cast of Friends.
And the weight would have been, like, this is my thing. I had a problem with this movie up until his first night when he slept. Like, because up until that point when he finally sees a TV, right? And all of a sudden he has this big emotional moment of like, oh shit, Krakozhia is like
Right,
war.
something's
like,
going on.
So many emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that almost felt unjustified because of the fact that like we heard everyone trying to tell him this.
Yes.
And the mere fact that we see this on TV and now he's running around trying to find TVs to do this. Imagine how powerful it would have been if he would have known when he left that office that my
country
sisters,
is in
my
turmoil.
daughter, like,
Right.
like then if you would have saw it on TV, you wouldn't have had to have him run around. It would have been a moment of looking up, sitting down, sadness. It would have been like, it would have been a weight that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hanks does a good job with,
The moments
the
are great.
emotion,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he's a good, he's a good.
Good actor. I'll say that. I think Tom Hanks is a good actor.
Tom Hanks is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then,
Tom Hanks is like in my top 4.
Yeah, he's really fucking solid. Yeah.
and then, he decides to stay there. He goes to like a gate that's not yet built.
Right.
He pushes some chairs together.
Unscrews them from the ground and
True.
like, pushes them
Yeah.
together and make his own little bed.
Yeah.
He also got through customs now.
And this is a post 9/11 movie. Let's be clear.
he
Right.
got through customs a fucking Swiss Army
Yeah.
kit. And I'm like, bruh, you're not getting that through security.
Mm,
I tried to take a razor, like just a simple razor I use on my
That's a
face
good point.
to check on, and they literally went in my bag, pulled it out, and was like, you need to throw this away. Why do you have to? Like, oh, it's like they undid my razor. And I was
Right,
like, I wanted to shave when I went there.
Easy to answer that question.
what do you plan to do with this? Shave
Shave.
my face.
It's
Yeah.
used for shaving faces.
Yeah, you can take it though. I get it. My man had a freaking
It's insane.
no.
It's insane. So now, he's set up in this situation. They've given him meal vouchers. They're like, this will hopefully blow over soon.
Mhm.
But then it becomes clear, like 15 minutes
Right.
in,
What
that
they think is going to happen is within a day, immigration will sort this out or whatever. He'll get a visa. Like they don't think it's going to be long term.
when Tucci just doesn't want this to be his problem. So
Yeah.
he thinks once it starts becoming clear that it's not getting resolved quickly,
He'll
he
just
thinks
leave.
either he's going to try to leave and get arrested, at which point he's not my problem,
Right.
or he'll succeed, at which point he's not my problem.
Yeah.
And this guy is so noble, wants to do things the right way. is sort of the implication.
My problem with the
Yeah.
movie is it doesn't accurately communicate if he's just being a stand-up guy or if he's smart enough to know like
That's my thing,
his
yeah.
problem would be worse if he just,
And
was
the-
delivered into the hands of the INS.
The third flavor is sometimes I think they play it like he's just oblivious.
Yes.
They alternate
but then
between
he
the-
has
but he
this
says the
early
thing.
in the moment where he holds
Yes.
his passport up to or whatever his
I
visa
wait.
documents up to.
Right.
I wait.
I
Yeah,
wait.
to the
I wait.
Also,
security camera.
does he ever use these meal vouchers?
I
Like
don't
we never
think
like
so.
he has the meal vouchers, and I see him doing like bread, like cracker sandwiches,
Right, he does his gross saltine sandwiches,
which he
with
never eats
ketchup
because they're
and
not
mustard.
making
They
Tom
always
Hanks
get
eat
knocked
that.
out.
Yeah,
No,
thank
Tom
God.
Hanks ain't about to eat that.
They always cut away when it's about to go
Yeah.
into his mouth.
Yeah.
That I picked up on this because I remember it the first time not understanding what happened to the meal vouchers. The moment is really poorly covered. It's a weird case where like Spielberg didn't visually explain something well enough. when he goes, there's the girl next to him who is Steven Spielberg's real life daughter, Sasha Spielberg.
Sure.
Playing the girl who's like struggling to get her suitcase
Oh, that's
closed.
right.
And at that moment, there's the
there's
pile of meal vouchers next to him. You see a close up of him counting the meal vouchers.
They go into the garbage. Right.
Then he goes to break her suitcase. He goes to try to fit it in, ends up breaking it, and in the process, the meal vouchers fly away. That's why he wants to reach into Pagoda's garbage.
Oh, that's why he keeps trying to go in the trash.
But the thing they don't give you, weirdly, is the shot of the meal vouchers like going into the garbage. Which is such a basic Spielberg thing to do. If like he's so good at like covering an object, so you understand
It's
where
true.
it is.
No, you're right. He doesn't do a good job.
It's like you see the meal vouchers,
especially, and you're telling me you're making a
Wow,
Jacques
I forgot
Tati
that.
homage, like that is all about like those little like moments building up and like this sort of like elaborateness you can get from a simple comedy, like a misplaced thing or someone.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I don't buy the whole like, oh, it's a playtime for the 21st century.
This is essentially like you see the meal vouchers, then you see him go to try to fix the woman's suitcase.
Yeah.
The thing kind of flies away, but like in the corner of the frame, so you don't really see it. And then the next thing you see is Pagoda. I'm going to call him Pagoda in honor
Don't
of how
call
you
him
refer to
because he's
actors
good.
by their
I
favorite
do.
roles.
Pagoda, listen, man, that's how people know him. They know him by that. And listen, I agree.
Kumar Palana.
Kumar Palana, a.k.a. Pagoda. You just
You
see
son
him
of a bitch.
sweeping up garbage,
his best
and
line.
included in that garbage pile is the meal vouchers, but you don't really see that clearly. And then the next thing you see is Hank's reaching into the garbage, which at this point he's done enough weird shit that you're like, I don't know, maybe he likes garbage? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't read as the meal voucher thing.
FYI,
I
I
did not
want,
know what
I want
that
you guys
is.
to tell me, how old do you think Kumar Palana is when he makes this movie?
In this movie? Well, he died about 4 years ago.
He
right?
died in 13.
13.
Okay, I would say 67.
What do you got?
I think he's 75.
85 years old. He looks
What?
great.
He's 85 in this movie?
He died, he was 94.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
it's crazy.
Good
He's a
genes.
good looking guy.
That's some good lotion, man. You got
yeah, that's a
lotion on.
good lotion.
So I'll just say, I'll use
Wow.
this opportunity now to explain that Victor meets a bunch of different people in the airport. I'm
Yes.
just going to run them down.
Uh-huh.
I'll just run them down for you guys.
Sure.
You got Kumar Palana as Gupta, who's an Indian immigrant or refugee, almost like he fled from
He
India.
murdered a cop by
no,
accident.
tried to kill.
I'm
a
sorry.
cop.
He
Tried to
stabbed
kill
a
him.
cop,
Which, by the way, they
Failed.
glazed
Attempted.
quickly over. I mean, corrupt cop, but nonetheless.
attempted murder.
Yeah.
Ran away from his wife and child and has been living.
He's a janitor
illegally.
in the airport.
They didn't even say
Um,
he sent them money. Like, does he even talk to the
They
family?
don't really
Nope.
talk about it. You've got Diego Luna as Enrique, who is a food service worker.
and
Yep.
is a real creep and a fuckboy.
Yo,
a little bit.
I have a lot of problems with
We're
him
going
in
to
this
talk
movie.
about it.
This
We're
is
going
the
to
worst
talk
part of
about
the
it.
movie.
His character
You've
is
got-
so weird.
Is
Yep.
it Chi McBride or Chi McBride?
I believe it's China.
China.
Chi McBride
Yeah.
as Joe, who's
Yeah.
like a baggage handler.
I had to call
runs
him
a
the
poker game
I had to call
Yeah.
him the principal from
from Boston Public,
Boston
which
Public.
we I believe shout out in a future episode. No, maybe
Yeah.
we were just talking about off.
See, I like to call him the chief from Undercover Brother. That's my favorite China McBride
yeah.
role. With the Pepto-Bismol.
Remember he
He's
was on
great.
Pushing Daisies. He's
Yeah.
done like so
Yeah,
many
he's
cool
so
things.
good.
They give him no character in
He
this
doesn't
movie.
get a lot to do,
Like-
and also he's fourth build.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is crazy. He was hot at this moment.
Zoe Saldana is Dolores,
I love
who
Zoe
is an
Saldana.
immigration.
I have problems with her in this movie too.
Me too. But
Yeah.
she's the stamp lady.
She's pretty cute.
And
I mean,
she's-
like
She is, but the way they do her, man, we treat women bad, y'all.
Yes, we do.
yes, we
Good
do.
God.
This
There are
is
only
true.
two
Especially-
female characters in this movie, and both of them
Both
are
of them
treated
are-
really poorly.
This movie isn't. Yeah, that's his biggest problem.
Yeah.
What were you going to say about Zoe Saldana though? She likes Star Trek. Or?
Yeah, oh, it's cute now because we know she's a hero.
That's
That's the
true.
big thing. I
Sure.
feel like that's the most lasting legacy to this
That's a good
movie
point.
is, oh, do you know
Where
there
she
was a
goes like
movie
this,
where
yeah.
Zoe Saldana plays
Yeah.
a Trekkie before?
Oh yeah, true.
That's like the big thing.
And
yeah.
that's basically Jude Chico Lela, sorry, as the contractor who
Sure.
Victor eventually works for. But yeah, that's basically the cast.
Yeah.
It's a colorful cast.
yeah.
A lot of
Very
people of
diverse
color,
cast.
very diverse
Very-
cast.
More diverse than most Spielberg movies
Yeah,
that
I'd
aren't
say so.
specifically
Yeah.
He
about,
at least
yeah.
seems to understand that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, you're meeting a bunch of people working in the airport. It's not going to be a bunch of white people.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably, you know, it's going to be a more mixed cast.
Sure.
I mean, okay.
This might
Doesn't
be
give
his.
any of them a ton to do, but you
This
know.
might be his most diverse. I'm thinking
Well,
about it
he
right
made.
now.
I mean, forgetting movies like
Amistad and Color
Amistad.
Purple.
Oh, he did. Did he direct Amistad?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
we had to do a whole episode about it.
I know
Our
he
whole
did Color
episode was
Purple.
pretty much about how he shouldn't have directed that movie.
I mean, he did Color Purple, and that was like a whole
Color Purple.
thing.
Yep.
Which I
Yeah, he
like.
did Color Purple. It was a whole thing. He takes a while, and then he's like, I'm going to make Amistad. I didn't learn any lessons from the
Yo.
Color Purple.
yeah, and not to harp on this point, but Amistad was his first DreamWorks movie. He ran a studio. He literally could have hired anyone to direct it. Like, it's not an argument of like, well, if I don't direct it, it's not going to get made. It's like, dude, you can hire Spike and get the movie.
Yo.
You can greenlight it tomorrow. You have greenlight power.
People got mad at me on our podcast because we reviewed Selma, and we were talking about Ava DuVernay,
Sure.
and that what I didn't know is that until we did it was that she had to write Martin Luther King speeches because Steven
They
Spielberg
didn't have the rights. Yeah.
Steven Spielberg had them, but
Yeah.
apparently she went to him to get the rights, at least for like 1 or 2 speeches to like use in this movie, because his King movie is not on his slate yet.
No.
That's never going to get fucking
Has
made.
Not after
never.
Selma.
No.
Not after,
Never.
Maybe before Selma, but not after
It's
that
on
movie
this huge
comes out.
pile of like maybes.
Yeah, right.
And I remember I got very upset at the fact that he owned them and wouldn't give it to like this black female director to make this movie.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I
Sure.
was like, this is terrible. And I'm like, I understand you want to do Amistad. I understand you want to do Color Purple, but like, bruh, there's certain ways to do things, man.
Yes, and not to
Look, Steven
rehash
Spielberg's-
this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the difference is, Color Purple. It feels like he really does want to make that movie.
Yeah.
Amistad, it feels like a vacation where he's like, oh, why not try something like this?
Sure,
Yeah.
maybe,
Like,
maybe
There's
this will
not
be
the same
good.
sense of passion behind Amistad.
No, Color Purple is he reads a book and is like, I love this book. I'm like passionate about
Yeah.
this.
I have the clout to get it made. I'll
Yeah, I
spend
can
my
help get it
cachet.
made.
Someone else could have made the Color Purple.
Someone else could have made
Yeah,
the
I
Color
mean,
Purple.
this is my
Yeah.
thing.
That book was a huge hit. Like,
But I think
it
it's
won
so
the Pulitzer
tricky because like
Prize.
I never want to be in a position to say like certain directors can't direct certain things. So I'm like, if there's a movie, for instance, about like a coming of age story about a young girl and things she has to deal with, I don't know that life.
Right.
Okay, I can read about it, I can study about it, I can ask my family members and friends, but I don't know it. So if there's a woman director who knows it and feels passionate, I'm like, you know little things that I will never understand. Do it. Like,
but on
please
the
do
other
it.
hand, like if you're making, if there's a script about a young girl, but there is something within the source material or the story itself that really relates to you that you're personally passionate about, I feel like you could direct a movie even if the character is different than you.
I agree.
Because the story speaks to you.
Mhm.
But you watch Amistad and it's just like, oh yeah, this is important. It should be made.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like he has any personal investment.
I think everything you guys are saying is correct.
And
but
we
let's
also
get back
all
to
said
Selma.
it
We
in
did
our
this.
Amistad
We
episode.
did this. All right.
All right, but still,
Yeah.
it's important to get that on the record.
The Troy McBride character is weird to me because later in the film, when Stanley Tucci is trying to like trap Tom Hanks,
Mhm.
Which is unnecessary.
right?
Bad scene.
We'll get to that scene in more depth, but he's explaining like, if you leave, I'm gonna arrest your 3 friends. Here are the arrestable offenses. One is Pagoda tried to kill a guy, and it's like, great,
You're
that
like,
has
that's real.
been,
I get that.
and that's
That's
been
real.
established within the body of the movie.
Yep.
The second one is, hey,
Diego
Diego
Luna
Luna
let
keeps on
you-
letting people into the food kitchen.
And it's just you.
It's a fireable offense, maybe
kind
nothing more than
of,
that.
right.
But whatever,
They-
you're not going to deport him.
They
or,
present
you
it as
know,
more of a
it's-
sanitary issue.
Yeah,
as like,
I don't know
right.
about that.
But
That's
whatever,
a slap on the
whatever,
wrist,
right.
in my
But at least
opinion.
that's been established in the movie.
I know what you're
And
getting
then they
to
go
here.
Troy McBride, and you go like, wait a second, what could he throw at Troy McBride? Troy McBride hasn't done anything in this movie other than just go like, Victor. You know, like
Yeah.
he's had no plot line, he's had like
Yes.
no arc, he's had no details, he's just the 4th guy in the scene, and they go, oh, he's smoking weed a lot. He runs that poker game
That
you've
illegal
seen.
poker game.
But I want to
Yeah.
point out, they don't play for money in the poker game.
No.
It's literally not an illegal
Yeah.
poker game.
Yes.
They don't play for
and they
money.
make sure you know that. too.
Yeah, they
Right.
say it. They say we don't play for money.
Right, so then they have to go like, oh, he's drinking and smoking.
Yeah, there's like
Here.
marijuana there. Come on.
Like, don't do this. We haven't seen him smoke anything
No,
this whole
that shit's not going to stand up.
movie.
Movie does him dirty. Does him dirty. Okay.
I mean, can we go to Diego Luna's character now? Or
Yeah.
no, not yet.
Absolutely, because
This-
at this
I
point,
think
the
pretty much at
movie
this
is
point, right,
basically,
yeah.
like we said, episodic, and it's kind of just Victor bouncing around these different characters and
Yeah.
sort of participating in their little stories.
Right, rather
and
than
of
going-
course, then
Yes.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is showing up every once in a while, and they have this sort of ongoing quasi-flirtation.
Which is
Which is essentially the story is like she's sleeping like she's a stewardess. Don't stewardesses always just sort of like, you know,
and they say
sluts who sleep
they
with
basically
men.
say they just have a bunch of sex.
yeah
Yeah.
sleep with men at different
but
ports
also
of call.
no self-respect. Like that's
no
the big thing.
self-respect.
She's defined by the fact that she
Like, what-
keeps
the-
on getting into bad relationships.
She's defined by a big twist where it turns out she's old. She's in her late 30s,
Which
guys.
is insane.
It's a
telling
weird
me-
moment.
Yeah.
You're telling me like her first off, her storyline legit.
It's garbage.
Her storyline legit is she's sleeping with
Michael Nuri.
But
Michael Nuri,
the whole
yeah.
thing is she's like, I never even asked him.
Sleeping with the married man. She encourages the married
yeah.
man to get back with his
Yeah,
wife.
Right.
Still
I'm
sleeps
going
with
to
him.
counseling. What kind of
I'm
lunatic
rooting for
am
the
I?
whole team.
Yeah.
And then like she's 39, but she lies that she's 33, but the men she has sex with think she's 27.
Uh-huh.
Then she keeps asking out Victor,
Right.
because she just has to be with somebody.
Because he's nice to her, and then she'll be like, shit, what's wrong with me? Why am I even asking you out?
Because
Like,
he's
you
like
know.
the only man that A, hasn't lied to her, and B, doesn't immediately hit on her.
Because he
Oh.
mosely just listens
Yeah.
and doesn't say much.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
grab her ass because everyone when
Right.
she's on flights, people just grab
She's
her
always
ass.
getting groped.
Which is the thing that may happen. But my
Sure.
thing is like, you're telling me you have this female character, right?
Yeah.
This woman.
Right.
This woman, an actress who just won an Oscar. And the thing is, even if she made this before she won it,
no,
you knew she did
big
Chicago.
actress above the title, it's Tom Hanks and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
You know
are on
what's
the
happening.
title.
Yes.
And you're telling me that you cannot think to write a character that has more depth
Yes.
than what this portrays?
It's insane.
Because my thing is, like, Steven Spielberg, like, you have kids. Would you want your daughter to see this character and be like, this is a woman I want to be when I grow up? It's like, they could have gave her anything.
Well, you know who's the third biggest female character in this film? Steven Spielberg's daughter as the woman who
Fucks
can't
up a
close her
bag.
suitcase. Just going like, oh my God, Dad!
Look,
that guy just broke my suitcase.
I can see when you're writing the script of a movie set in an airport, you're like, who should the love interest be? I know, a stewardess, obviously, because they're in and out of the airport.
Yes. Right.
That'll be fun. It can be like, like every 20 minutes, like you said.
Which I like that idea.
It could be an idea.
Sure.
Then they're like, and also it's 1962. Stewardesses just sleep with married men, right? Like, that's where they fall off a cliff.
Right. And then the extrapolation they make from that is, okay, so if she sleeps with married men all the time, she must hate herself, and that's the defining point of her personality. Is that she hates herself because she fucks too many men.
And it's all about relationships. I'm like, and that's the thing, but it's like, first off, did this movie pass the Bechdel test?
It's impossible.
How could
it?
it? Yeah, I mean,
it's an
Catherine
airport.
Zeta-Jones and Zoe Saldana don't talk to each other.
I mean, it should. It's an airport full of people. There's like,
yes.
I mean,
there cannot be a moment where two women talk to each other in this movie.
Let alone talk
Not
to
even
each
talk
other
about anyone other than him, but like.
Okay. All right, but so then following on this theme, let's talk about Diego Luna's character.
I was going to say, rather than go chronologically because this is so episodic,
let's just talk about
focus on each
so
one.
that's CZJ's storyline. And then, of course, it ends with them going on a date that is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But then she's like, you know what? I'm fucked up. You don't want to be near me.
Which is what happened? Like, first off, what I understand having commitment issues. I totally get it. I got him. Okay,
hey man,
I got him. I get
all
it.
Green lights.
But you're telling me after this whole thing, like he builds her this.
Yeah, he makes this like crazy sort of fountain for her.
Yeah, and also
Dakota does the dish spinning.
There's some like there's some fake like flirtation they have where they both like history, but only she does.
Yeah,
exactly. So you make it like she's actually pursuing him almost, right?
Sure,
so it's the whole thing. She's coming back. She remembers him. She like talks to him about history, and all of a sudden, once she does something nice for him, it's like I had to go to the dude to get this. I'm a horrible person.
I told you not to fall in love with a woman like me. Stay away from me.
The last shot is her with Michael Nouri.
Yeah.
And you see him putting his hand on her back.
She says
she sees him in it when he leaves.
When he's leaving, they have a moment.
But then like that moment is just like she looks at him.
Yeah.
Like you made her into you almost made her into a villain for no reason.
She also says, "Stay away from me."
I'm sick. Stay away from me. I'm sick.
Right, like she's a fucking werewolf, and she's like, "You can't love me. I'm going to turn into a wolf and bite you in the throat." And it's like, why? Just because like she has
everybody got
the least self-respect I've ever seen,
and it's like
in a character.
And then even when Stanley Tucci like goes to her and has a moment of like, I mean, basically what he says is, "You're hot. Why do you like this guy?" And you give her this moment of like a person like you would never understand, which is such a like. And the thing is, I understand when it's like it could be possible, it could be powerful, could not be. But like she says a thing of like, I see past this physical thing, and it's like you gave her that, but then you dropped it.
Yeah. What's the very next scene she has after that? That scene cuts out after she says that line where she explains to him like a man like you could never understand. The implication being that after all these guys have treated her like garbage her entire life, here's the one guy who's not groping her, who's not lying to her. Then a hard cut to her storming back to Victor Navorsky and saying, "You fucking lied to me. Why did you tell me you were a contractor? Why didn't you tell me you've been living here for 9 months?"
And
Which is the thing
and
I fucking hate. He did, but also he barely speaks English.
Yeah. Right.
Like, and look
also,
at that first scene where she's
maybe
asking
have
questions.
an ounce of compassion for the man who is stateless.
Yeah.
And also, he did try to tell you.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
said,
thing.
"I live in the airport."
The first scene. He keeps on going like, "I live in the airport." And she goes like, I know, I feel like that too. He goes, "What do you do for a living?" "I go from building to building." "Oh, you're a contractor?" Like, she's the one who creates the lies, and he's like, "I don't know, I
and
guess
what he
so."
says, and what he says in that scene is like, "You see what you want in the men."
Yeah.
He says, he's like, "I told you, you see what you want." And it's like,
Also,
we all do that.
Also, guess what? Later in the movie, he becomes a contractor.
Sure, he's a
so
paid
he wasn't
contractor.
lying. He becomes a paid contractor.
All right. Okay. Diego Luna.
I don't even know where to
we're
start.
done with Catherine
I
Zeta-Jones.
hate.
All right, we've all been on wet record that we don't like it.
But I was gonna say specifically, I hate the caught in a lie thing. The,
No,
like,
it's
any romantic
true.
comedy
it's a
where it's
terrible
like
trope.
the guy lies about something and then the woman
hate
gets
it.
upset about the lie, and it always feels like
and then he has to take her on a date or do something, like build her a fountain.
But it always feels like the way those scenes play out, it always feels in execution like she's more upset about realizing he has less status than he does than she is about the lying. And this movie does that too, where it's like she has so little sympathy for what he's going through. And it's just like, I thought you were a contractor who owned an apartment. You're a bum who lives in an airport.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't do her justice. Diego Luna's character.
Diego
bothers
Luna's
me.
character.
Yeah.
Enrique, the food guy, he brings Victor food.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start, man. I remember. Woo, I'm so mad thinking about him. Actually, it's like
Now, Diego Luna had been in Y Tu Mama Tambien just a couple years ago, so he's just starting to be like in Hollywood.
Dirty
stuff,
Dancing
right?
Havana Nights comes out earlier that year.
That's right.
That was like
And,
his first big American studio movie.
He's in Frida. He's in Open Range in 03, which he's great in.
Oh, really?
As Button. Have you never seen
I've
Open
never
Range?
seen it.
What a great movie.
The Cause directed that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big cause. Dirty Dancing, yeah.
and you
then-
know what you got to say.
And then after this, he takes it easy for a while. He does Spanish language movies mostly.
Yeah.
Comes back to America with Milk, and starts to make again, more
But you
like
forget, you ain't say it yet. You ain't say it yet.
Say it.
He also starred in Star Wars Rogue One, which just this year
Yeah.
passed a billion.
Pass the bell.
That's true.
A
Pass the
billion.
bell.
And he has his accent in that movie, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good for you, man.
It's very exciting.
Fucking
Also,
good for you.
we should note he wants to touch Yaba, and you should let him touch Yaba. Have you seen the video?
Yes.
No, does he?
The montage of 18 different press events where he's doing Rogue One, and they're like, "What do you want to? What do you like about Star Wars?" And like, I love Yaba the Hutt. Yaba's so interesting.
Oh my God,
Like,
that was
he
my
wants
interview.
stuff.
I directed that. It's like him and Felicity Jones, and he's
There's
like,
one of them is, I'm sure, one of the ones
Yo,
you did.
listen,
he wants to touch Yaba.
he does. This is my thing though. That man is so
texture.
likable. That man is so likable, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very
yes.
likable.
They made him into such a creepy.
He's such a
Creepy
creepy.
This
man in
movie
this.
thinks that he's likable and cute, right? The movie is
Yes.
he admires Zoe Saldana from afar. It doesn't. It stands up to no scrutiny.
no.
See, but let me tell you the thing about this though is I think now that we're living in a more progressive, we have a more progressive mindset. Is that back in the day this might have worked? It's like
In 1947,
yeah,
yes, maybe.
this might have
Yes.
worked. But now we understand is that you can't just look at a woman from a distance and talk to somebody like, hey, I need to. What does he say? Tame her at what?
Yes.
Like he goes on a monologue like, I need to.
She's a wild horse.
A wild horse. I need to tame. I'm like, what
That is
the?
correct. He does say that.
He
Like,
does.
and he
say that.
says something else that I
Calls her
can't
like a
remember.
stallion. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
well, stallion.
He
Thank
calls
you.
her a couple of things, and I'm like, first off, that's not how you talk about somebody that you think you're in love with.
Probably not.
And not only that, but like you're going about it with a guy to like get info from her on a daily basis.
The
You're paying
idea
this dude.
is that he's noticed that Victor goes to the immigration desk every day, so he interacts with Zoe Saldana
and
every
he makes
day.
her laugh. He makes her laugh.
And
Despite
she
the
likes
fact-
him,
yes.
even though he's a pain in the ass.
And Saldana makes it clear to him, like, you're not going to get approved. I can only
Right.
go so far. I can't do anything for you.
Right.
But every day he's going to go to her no matter what.
Yeah. And so
Diego Luna, who, let's point out, up until this point, his group, his Tri McBride Pagoda Diego Luna group, has been pushing out Navorsky because Pagoda thinks that he's a CIA agent.
Stop calling him Pagoda, goddammit.
It's a
Pagoda-
tribute to Jerah.
Yeah, thank you. I respect you for it.
Yes, Pagoda has decided that Victor is like a spy or something.
Right. So they're
Of
like,
course, he has reason to be paranoid, as we learn, because he stabbed someone.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank goodness
Yes.
we finally get to that because I was like, why are we doing this spy thing, man?
Yeah.
But the thing is, so he's paying Victor in meals, right? Paying Victor in meals to get info. But it's such a creepy thing that I'm like,
It also doesn't make any fucking sense. Just
No.
talk to her.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I've been nervous to talk to women sometimes. I've been
Yeah.
like, I will go to a legitimate friend of hers and be like,
Oh,
yo,
sure.
you're like, what is she like? Like, okay, I'm gonna try, like, but to say I'm gonna help me tame, help me, like,
It
Whatever.
also,
I mean,
oh my
it
goodness,
ends
y'all.
up being, so you see like months and months, because this movie does it kind of does the Groundhog Day thing where it's like, you can't even keep track of how long he's been there. Has it been a year? Has it been a week?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it plays really fast and loose with time. The difference is that Groundhog Day is like metaphysical.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about Groundhog Day.
You know what I'm saying? And this
I do,
movie
yeah.
like
It's a
takes
great
place
movie.
in quote unquote the real world, and
Yeah.
you're like, wait, but actually, how long has it been? How much time has passed?
What do you think? Like a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No, they say
implication
she
is-
says I didn't know how long it was until
She says 9 months.
she says
Uh-huh.
9 months.
When she catches him.
Right.
Yeah.
So like
right,
no one knows until she says
Right.
9 months.
Right.
So I don't know how far into that Diego Luna comes in with the food, but you assume it's pretty early because
Yeah, a month in,
you
maybe.
can't make
Yeah.
it that long off of just crackers, right?
Yeah,
And they nip the
cart
trolley
stuff, yeah.
return system, the cart return system, pretty quickly. So it's like there are like maybe 3 to 6 months of him every day just trying to like pump information out of Saldana.
Yeah.
Now, still would be creepy, but like on a more functional story level, you would want to see Tom Hanks goes, he gets some information out of her, and then what you see is Diego Luna going and starting a conversation with her using the information that he's found out. Instead, what's happened is Diego Luna just stockpiles the information in the hollowed out nest of a tree for like 6 months until he's ready to talk to her.
Yes, he digs a hole in the ground and whispers the information into it.
Right, and just every day is like, more information, good, I'll write it down in my book and not talk to her. And just learns everything he can about her until they finally just go like, your secret admirer, because she at a certain point picks up on the fact, clearly these questions are being asked because of some guy.
Yeah.
It's some guy here. You have to imagine at this point she would take it into her own hands and be like, I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
And finally, the final denouement is Tom Hanks, when Diego Luna has still never spoken to her.
Has not met her.
Right.
Guys,
Tom Hanks slides a ring.
A wedding ring.
You're making me not
wedding
like
ring.
this movie now.
This
Sorry, buddy.
drives me insane.
It's an odd choice.
And says, if you want to meet your secret admirer, he'll be waiting at the bar. She goes, I don't get off until blank o'clock, and he says like he'll be waiting.
He'll be waiting.
And then you see the shot of Diego Luna sitting nervously, shaking his leg.
He wants to touch Yaba.
Drinking. Wants to touch Yaba. He's drinking
The
soda.
texture of him. He's such an interesting character.
The tongue.
The tongue. He wants to touch Yaba. He's thinking about Yaba.
Zoe Saldana comes up. He feels her presence over her shoulder. He turns around. She does the live long and prosper Vulcan salute.
She does.
She turns
Which
her
is
hand
so
around.
Cute. Yep.
That's cute.
Perfectly cute.
And it's like
perfectly cute if maybe they've gone on a few dates
and
at
he
this
knew
point.
this.
And this is Spielberg like trying to do like light touch. It's a Lubitsch moment. It's a purely gesture moment. You convey whatever. Turns the Vulcan salute around and the ring's on her finger.
Makes no sense.
And
She's
then
gonna marry him?
Hard cut to them in a fucking airport fucking golf cart.
Makes no
just
sense.
Married. We
Makes
never
no
see them have a
sense.
conversation the entire film.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the, yeah.
There's no way to even defend this.
No, it does.
Garbage.
Forgetting the creepy, nice guy, quote unquote, overtones of it that are bad.
But it works.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense that this is why it
It
would.
sucks because the movie makes it like, oh, you can do
It
this
turns-
creepy shit and it works.
Yeah.
Not only that, and it just turns them all into like dumb 2-dimensional,
Yes.
like.
Well,
I
first off,
could be
Zoe-
meaner about it, but basically just dumb 2-dimensional characters who are like, oh, la la la, I love you, like, let's get married. I don't know. It's just
Well, Zoe doesn't serve a purpose.
she's
But
good.
to be, but the thing is, in this movie,
Good
she's
in the
good.
movie.
She's great, but like she doesn't serve any purpose but to like have Diego Luna marry her at the end.
Right.
She doesn't
Her
become
only other
like a
purpose
friend
is
really
that
with
she
him.
gives Tom Hanks the green stamp, like that. There's
Finally.
like a finality to that.
But my thing is, why couldn't she been one of the friends?
Yes.
Like,
Dude,
why could she
she
just
should
not
be
have
one
been
of the friends. She
friends?
should be
Yes.
in the group. Diego should have a crush on her.
Right.
and,
Exactly.
Like not be able to tell her, and Tom Hanks should eventually like help him like start a conversation with her.
Yes, she
That's
likes
how
Star
it should
Trek.
work.
So that
She should
Diego
just be a
Luna-
friend. She should
She
just
had
be a
been
friend.
in Center Stage.
Uh-huh.
Get over it.
Uh-huh. Crossroads?
Crossroads with Britney Spears.
Uh-huh.
Drumline.
I love
Pirates of the
her
Caribbean?
drumline.
Pirates of the Caribbean, where she slaps Johnny Depp in the
Depp,
face. I think it's just that's it, basically.
Yeah.
I think twice in the movie she slaps him. Yeah.
And this was it. So she was on a nice upward,
Right.
no
Yeah.
no superstardom yet.
And
but,
then after
you know.
this, she becomes the queen of sci-fi.
Yeah,
Or
a little
queen.
bit while after this, because Star Trek's 09, and that's
What does she
that's
do
where-
after this? Yeah,
She makes a lot of movies that I've never really heard of. I mean, she's the love interest in Guess Who, but that's a thankless role.
Yeah.
She's who Ashton
Aaron
Kutcher is
Ashton Kutcher,
marrying.
yeah.
But she had that one action movie. Was it
Columbiana.
Columbia? Was that before the?
No, Columbia is 11,
Yeah.
2011.
Wow, that's
way
that
after.
long.
I
Oh,
never
goodness.
understood why they didn't give her more of those. She is really good in Columbiana,
She
which
is.
is a shitty movie, but it was like if fucking like Mila Jovovich and Kate Beckinsale can do like 1,000
My
of
guess
these.
is
That makes
my
no
guess is
sense.
that she doesn't want to, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure because I'm pretty sure she could set up another, small to mid budget action movie.
That's the
if she
thing.
wanted
Even
to.
if she didn't want to do Columbiana
But she's
too,
pretty fucking busy, man. I mean,
I know.
she's and she's in Live by Night.
Yeah.
Like that must have taken. Like she's in a lot
She's a
of
good
big
actress.
movies.
I feel
She's
good
great.
actors,
She's
yeah.
actually. The thing is, I tell you this. I feel like we're like we're on like a feminist tirade right now, but it's like I feel like the thing is she's pretty. That's the problem.
Yes.
She's gorgeous.
She's
Yes.
pretty.
Yeah.
The thing is like it does happen with men sometimes. It's like you look at like a Brad Pitt. It's like you have to become such a thing where like, oh, you're so handsome, you only can do leading man action movies. But if you're an actress and you're pretty, you will only get pretty roles until you either get older.
Right.
Like I saw a movie with Mila Kunis playing a mom, and I'm like, yeah, she is a mom in real life, but I'm like, You don't have to make her a mom right now.
No,
Like,
well, all right, okay. Now we're
Sorry,
all
sorry,
sounding very.
sorry.
We're all a bunch of allies, okay,
Sorry.
guys.
Yeah, look. This is a very woke podcast.
Not only, this isn't even the purpose of being woke, but it's like we're just talking about these
Woke
characters.
check.
And it's like you ain't even got it. Zoe Saldana served no purpose in this movie but to get
Woke
married.
me if you cast.
Woke me if you cast.
Ooh,
Stephen Wokeberg.
nice.
Can I just? I want to re-underline a
Woke
certain
terminal.
point. Okay, on a basic story function level,
Woke of
though
the
it
world.
still would have been creepy as fuck, creepy AF, right? Diego Luna never does anything with the information that Tom Hanks gives him.
Ever.
He collects the information
Then proposes to her.
in a way that has nothing to do with what he finds out about her. He says he wants to tame her, and then he does nothing other than have his crush grow based on the information he relays to him. Nothing changes
They
in this
don't
movie.
interact at any point until they
They
get
do not
married.
interact. I have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Woke Skull.
Good job.
That's actually a good one.
10 comedy points.
I agree. Thank you. The next character we should talk about is Chi McBride. He runs the poker game.
I mean,
Great job.
Yeah, great job. For
Interesting
sale. Nice
character.
check.
like
And then you've got Kumar Palana as Pagoda, a.k.a. Gupta.
Right.
He stabbed a guy. He can spin some plates. And I guess he's the hardest to win over.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has this moment where he stops a 747 from taking off
with his
by
mop.
running in front of it with his mop.
Yeah.
Now, I can
Guys.
see a movie where you build to this point.
Okay, we're all
And
taking
have
the
it-
mic to the left.
I gotta
This is
take-
a
I
moment
can't,
to
like,
think about.
I can
I-
see a movie where you build to this as like a crucial,
Sure.
set piece in the film.
Yes.
It doesn't actually have any bearing on what Victor then does, which is decide to maybe actually catch another plane some other time.
guys, I mean,
Because the idea surely isn't that Kumar Palana delays the plane so much that Tom Hanks can have a whole fight with Stanley Tucci, leave the airport, go to a jazz club, get a guy's signature, watch him play the sax, come back, get on the same plane,
guys, you
right?
know what?
No, right?
Now that you-
right?
Now that you bring that up, can I just say something to the two of you right now?
Please.
Go ahead.
I want to say I'm sorry.
Oh, for one,
I feel like we could. I should have picked.
No.
I should have. Like the thing is, I liked this movie, and I'm like, even this morning when I
you know
rewatched
what?
it, I
We're
was
being
like,
mean, and I
No,
want to
but
say the movie's not that bad.
No, the thing is, the
there
movie
are
isn't-
things. Yeah, it's a watchable movie.
it's watchable, but the thing is, there's so many problems,
Yes.
and it's like, he literally technically shames Victor, yelling at him in this airport.
Right. Says like you're
yeah.
a coward.
You're a
You're not going
coward.
to leave the airport. This is
Right.
when Victor's freedom is finally granted.
Coward.
Right.
And Tucci's like, get the fuck out of here.
Coward.
Don't leave. Yeah.
I'll say two
Calls
things.
him a coward, and then I think is it Chi McBride?
No,
or
it's another cop who.
Oh,
like,
right. It's
It's
Corey
Corey
Reynolds.
Reynolds,
He
yes.
pulls him aside and says, "No, the situation is Tucci was like threatening to deport you,
Yeah.
or And so that's when Kumar Palana decides to run in front of an airplane.
First
I
off,
guess
listen.
to show Victor that he should be similarly heroic. I don't like what.
I just want to say two things quickly. One is, Jerah never apologized.
I mean, this movie, guys, we should did like.
But we were going to do a Terminal
I never
episode no matter
apologized.
what.
Yeah, of course we were always going to do a
Okay,
terminal
okay,
episode.
okay.
And
Yeah,
here's the
man.
thing. Our Terminal episode would be much worse if you weren't on it.
Yeah, if it was just like me and Griffin being like,
Right.
they wouldn't.
You're a powerhouse guest. You're making this a must-listen episode.
No, this is my thing about it. First off, the friendship with Pagoda, thank you,
Yeah.
and Victor. I feel like now I should call him Forrest. I should, you know what? Well, between Victor and Forrest, Pagoda and Forrest, and like their friendship isn't strong enough that
No.
like he's going in front.
Absolutely not.
He attempted to kill a man,
Right.
and he's going back to his country.
Yes.
Like this won't end well for him.
Yes.
No, although to be fair, he is 85 years old, so he lived a nice life.
But he is. I mean, he
He
waves
did.
goodbye and says, I'm going home. He's willing to sacrifice everything for Victor Navorsky to the point that he is going to be flown back to his country, He's going to be extradited, and then he's going to probably either be...
He's gonna die in prison.
Right. Either die in prison or be given, like, the death sentence or fucking whatever.
Yeah, like this won't end well. And I'm like,
No.
has Forrest, I'm going to call him Forrest now.
Please do.
I got to get back on brand.
Yeah.
All right. Has Forrest earned that kind of friendship yet?
No, absolutely not. The movie does not do that. It does not... You would almost buy it more from Diego Luna because
Right.
Tom Hanks was, quote-unquote, responsible for setting him up with his wife.
No, but the reason is that off screen, it's been explained to Kumar Palana that he was like, this is a noble act by Victor to not get him deported.
Did he have to take
Right.
the mop? Did he have to take the mop?
It's
And then when he puts the
a fair question.
the mop on the tire,
Ugh.
I was like, you ain't got the.
oh, but it's the Spielberg touch. It's the little whimsy.
Like,
It's
you ain't got to put the mop on the top.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And it stops just in time so that the mop is just resting on the tire.
But also, everyone is so nervous and scared that in my mind, I'm like, we do realize that nothing in this movie is set up that he's about to die, right? Like, I had no fear of this man in this plane at any point.
Absolutely not.
No. But I will say this, Tom Hanks did a good job because he was selling fear.
Yes, he was.
Tom Hanks had fear in his eyes.
Look, but it makes the movie more confusing because you're like, wait, I'm supposed to be scared right now?
Yo, Tom Hanks is too good of an actor to do this movie.
What were you going to say, David?
I don't remember. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the end of Kumar Polana. We're not going to talk about him anymore.
I'm sorry, just the moment where he screams at him and he goes like, you coward, Victor Navorsky, you coward.
Coward.
You leave. You're so close, you're going to leave now.
And he screams coward as he walks away.
Right, like vehement, like viciously.
We should say at this point, Kumar Polana has basically just been the guy from the Wes Anderson movie.
Right.
Yes.
He's in Duplex.
Oh, yeah.
Plays an Indian restaurant.
DeVito's Duplex, yeah. This was like a big deal that it was like, oh, Spielberg's putting him in a movie now. And then, he's just kind of like light and whatever for most of the movie. Even when he talks about trying to stab the cop, he's like, whatever. And now suddenly this like moment, it flips out and it's like, wait, so it's supposed to be that like Victor is his inspiration? Like Victor is his like spirit animal? And it's like, if Victor can't make it to New York, then everything is lost.
You're trying too hard to make this make
No,
a lot
I'm
of
saying
sense.
that's where the movie like fucking falls apart.
The movie, guys, I don't even know what they were.
Okay.
But some of it is
The movie's still fun, though.
Some of it is charming.
Some of it's a little charming.
Tom Hanks is great.
Tom
to
Hanks
me.
is quite charming.
Yeah.
Even though I agree with you that in general, in the first, he's maybe a little too broadly comic and he tones it down in the right way. He's a good actor. He does a good job. There's an idea to this movie of like a portrait of like a community. You know what I mean? Like, and sort of like how the state can exist even where the state does not exist. Whatever, right?
Yes.
Like the community is rooted in people.
Yes.
That might be a good movie, but unfortunately, I feel like all the little storylines are too cartoonish. They're too, thinly sketched. Like no one really gets much to do except for big grand moments that don't make any fucking sense
And that aren't earned. Like
and
all
then
the
the
big
Catherine
moments in the movie aren't
Zeta-Jones stuff is so.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones part makes me the saddest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when he's about to leave finally, and the thing is, this is the thing. Zoe Saldana tells him that he can't leave even before all this. Before like trying to stop the plane. Like, Catherine Zeta-Jones tells him, Zoe Saldana says, you have to get this signed by Stanley Tucci's character. Mm-hmm. We know this. Stanley Tucci, he goes to him, Stanley Tucci says, no, put him on the plane.
And at this point, Stanley Tucci has said, like, you're stuck here.
Yeah, so you know.
As we already mentioned, Stanley Tucci, for no good reason, decides
hate him.
to ground him in the airport forever, even though Stanley Tucci's previous stated game was to get him out of the airport.
Because it would make his life easier.
Yeah, because it's not good for him to have a homeless man essentially living in an airport.
Now he's petty. He thinks because he is the one who prevented me from getting the promotion I want, I'll keep him here, and then he gets the promotion.
Gets the promotion
anyway.
Decides to be meaner.
Yes.
Then at the end, they're like, for crying out loud, Tom Hanks, what's in the jar of peanuts? And he's like, a famous photo of jazz musicians, and my dad liked jazz.
Catherine Zeta-Jones on the date.
He says it to her on the date, and like, his dad liked jazz music, I guess, or at least liked this photo.
But that's what's crazy, is I know I've already said this.
You already said it.
Yeah.
But you want to make it that, like, he buys a jazz album, he listens to it, it's so great that he decides he wants all the autographs. Instead, the way Tom Hanks tells the story is literally like, he saw this photo, these 33 men, and he kept on staring at the photo. Like, he was a fan of the photo.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is that, like, so that moment happens, and all of a sudden, like, now, Victor's like, I'm leaving.
Right.
Now, we've already established he can't leave.
Yes.
We already know, but now everyone in the airport is like, he's going. He's going.
Victor's
he's
and
leaving.
they start giving him all this free
giving
shit.
him presents.
Right.
We haven't established that these people liked him yet.
Yeah, most of them turned him down for a job.
Yep.
True.
And let's also point out that when he was suffering, he had no money. No one wanted to give him anything for fucking free. And now that he's leaving and he actually has autonomy,
Right.
they're like, take some slippers.
Yeah. Take this squishy thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and
now they
people
all
we've
wanna help
never
him.
seen are like, Victor's leaving? Like, oh, he needs this, dehumidifier.
Take
or
these
what, I
meals.
don't know.
Take these meals. Like, they never offer him meals at any point in the movie. Take this food. Take this food.
Right.
Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. They did establish why people like him because after he saved the guy with the pills.
Right.
We should
right.
talk about
So
it. That's
right.
probably the
Right.
best scene in the movie,
Yes.
right?
It's okay. There's that set piece in the middle. It's okay. It's a pretty good scene.
It's one of the better ones.
It's a
probably
good
one
scene.
of the best.
It's a good scene.
Tucci gets called away.
I think I'm more annoyed by its implications, why it makes
Sure.
Tucci mad or whatever.
It makes me
than
hear,
the
yeah.
scene itself is pretty good.
Right, I think the scene in of itself is a good scene.
Yeah.
Tucci gets called away from when he's meeting with his superiors. They go, this is important. There's a
ranting. I think he's Russian, Bulgarian, or something. He's supposed to be related. His language is close enough to Krakozhian.
Krakozhian.
Yes, which is supposed to be a Balkan state.
Krakozhia.
It's supposed to be like Macedonia or something like that.
He's got medication that it's not legal for him to bring into the country. He was supposed to fly straight to Canada for that reason, but the flight got diverted or shifted.
So he's
whatever.
Freaking out. How you doing, Ben?
Producer Ben.
Ben, you all right?
Ben Deucer?
I'm good.
Producer Ben.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't introduced him, but Ben.
Have you been drinking water?
Yeah. I've been barely staying awake, honestly, guys.
Well,
Mr. Positive.
Wow, that makes us feel good about the podcast.
You're pretty close to death right now. It sounds like.
No, I'm fine. I just stayed out really late last night.
Dirtbag Benny.
Yeah.
You have a good time though?
Oh man, it was so fun.
The peeper.
Yeah.
The tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
The fart detective.
Oh God.
The meat lover.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you one question quickly?
Please do, Griffin.
Have you graduated to certain titles over the course of different miniseries?
Yes, we have.
Like, I don't know, for example, producer Ben Kenobi, Kylo Ben.
That sounds yeah, I think that's one of them.
Ben Night Shyamalan, Ben Sate.
Sure.
Say Bennything.
Yeah.
Ailey Benz with a $.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. And you're doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I had a fun time. Yesterday was the Women's March. And I didn't participate, but I just got really drunk.
Well,
that's how you wanted to show support.
And celebration.
Yeah,
so I sort of...
What a hero you are, man.
What's that?
You're a hero.
You're a hero.
I know. I do what I can.
It's fine. You can go back to sleep. Don't worry. I'm sorry.
No, here, I'll throw out a couple of things. I got a couple of things. You know me.
Yeah.
All right.
You sound really excited about everything you just did.
There we go with Ben's
Ben is our
corner.
finest film critic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wow.
All right. Check it. So, I love a little touch of the tooch.
He does love to touch the tooch.
I'm
this
on the
is
record.
previously established.
Oh, no.
I'm on the record.
I love a little touch of the tooch.
In my opinion, this movie needs a touch of the tooch,
Oh,
and
my
instead it
goodness.
has kind of like like a lot of the tooch.
That's one
movie's
of the funniest things I've ever heard. I love a little touch of the
Touch the
tooch.
And he said it like we
When
all
was
know
that
it.
established? I can't even remember
Oh, I
when he
don't
first
know.
loved the touch of the tooch.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
my
established
goodness.
in something though that you love.
Yo,
to
y'all
touch.
keep saying the touch of the tooch.
Okay, any other points you want to
Just a
make?
little
Ben?
touch.
Oh, my goodness.
What else? What else? Tom Hanks, what a treasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
America's golden man.
Hot take, Ben.
They call him America's dad. That's his name.
Wait, you're telling me you think Tom Hanks is good?
Is likable and good at his job.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Oh my god!
Cool.
Wow, great. I agree.
All right. Well, that's been...
That's it.
That's Ben's corner.
Yeah, I didn't
think we were
I didn't
talking
watch
about
the movie, guys,
Spotlight.
so that's why I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm just going to sit this one out, but
Well,
hey,
yeah, because I think Tucci was my best supporting actor winner last year. Yeah, in Spotlight. Anyway,
Touch the tooch, yeah.
this
I mean, you always want a little touch of the tooch.
always want
Always.
to
I mean,
yeah.
few
I watch Hunger
movies-
Games. I'm like,
just a
Tooch is
good cut.
killing.
This movie maybe makes the mistake of
Too
rather than
much
giving you a
Tooch.
touch of the Tooch, like serving you like sour cream as an entree.
Yeah.
Just a bowl of sour cream, and
exactly.
you're like, I wanted a side of sour cream.
Just a little touch.
I want a touch of the Tooch.
Yeah. All true.
This goat scene, they immediately go like, we can't talk to this guy. They go, why don't you bring in a translator? Won't be able to get here for an hour. Oh, maybe
Hey.
if you have a translator that
Oh,
can be
you
on
have a
beck and call at
translator?
any hour, maybe you should have called that in minute 5 of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Hanks, they call him Victor Navorsky.
He's trying to reason with them. His dad. They go, I'm sorry, we can't bend the rules on this. We can't break the law. And Hanks pulls a hero move and decides to say,
Essentially tells this guy, it was for an animal.
and it's because at this point, Hanks is read up on
He's read up
airport
on all
laws?
the immigration,
Yes.
whatever.
He's read up
laws.
on everything. You've been
Right.
reading because we know because Stanley Tucci says it.
Yes.
He does say it.
He
Basically
challenges
says,
him.
Tell, don't
You've
show.
been reading this.
Yes, he challenges him. He intimidates him. He makes him photocopy his hand a bunch of times.
True.
And then that becomes like his like hero protest poster. Like they
True.
hold up.
Right, you're right, right. That's when they.
That's
right,
when everyone
yes,
starts
That's
loving
when
him.
everyone's like, "Did you hear about this?" Kumar Palana is suddenly converted to the cause of Navorsky.
Right.
Starts talking about him like he was like saying, "We don't need no stinking badges." Essentially.
But
Yeah.
they also they make him go through the metal detector to prove that he doesn't have a microphone
Yeah,
in his
which-
butt.
Does that fuck him up?
Yeah,
By the way,
probably.
they put him through that machine.
I was like, first off, that shouldn't be okay, right?
no, like pregnant women aren't allowed to go through like the stand up
Yeah,
one.
like
I
that shouldn't be
feel like-
okay.
Yeah, and also like the old trope of people hiding stuff up their butt that lasts for like a couple hours. This guy's been at the airport for months now. Do you think that every night he takes it out and then puts it back in the butt?
Yeah, it's like, and you can see him on camera because he lives at the airport.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
It should be anyway. Whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I was just saying, like, this moment of like everyone cheering him on as he leaves.
Yeah.
Mind you, we all know he still can't legally get out of this place.
Yeah, and also we all know that most of you have not given a fuck about him for months.
Nope.
Yeah.
And what's the main cop's name?
Barry Shabaka.
Barry Shabaka Henley, who is a great actor.
Great character actor.
He plays Thurman. I want to point out Barry Shabaka Henley. This is something I just learned. His real name is Barry Joseph Henley.
Okay.
Took the middle name Shabaka from a pharaoh in Egypt's 25th dynasty. I don't know why,
just
but
because. Oh,
just
it is.
that's cool.
I mean, Shabaka. That's a great name.
It's a pretty. It stands out. Barry Shabaka
question.
Henley.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he's great in I think of him as a Michael Mann guy. He's
I do
amazing in Collateral.
Well, here's the thing I love.
As the jazz club owner.
This and Collateral are both in the same year, right?
That's right. Yeah,
okay?
both 04.
And this movie is Tom Hanks has to get past Barry Shabaka Henley
to get to
so
a
he
jazz
can go to a
club.
jazz club.
True.
And Collateral is Jamie Foxx has to take Tom Cruise to a jazz club
Right.
so that he can assassinate Barry Shabaka Henley.
Yeah, she does.
That
Forgetting a fact about Miles
Right.
Davis wrong.
But that is
Which is insane.
It is a weird scene.
that is the primary job that Tom Cruise has to execute in that movie, right? That's like the main assassination that he's supposed to pull off. Is the Barry Shabaka Henley one?
No, that's one of 5 assassinations.
Oh,
The
right.
main
Yeah.
one's the Korean club owner.
I just think it's interesting that those
Best scene in the
two
movie.
movies are both related to
Jazz.
guys having to get to a jazz club and Barry Shabaka Henley.
But
They
Barry
come out the
Shabaka
same-
Henley plays Castillo in Miami Vice, the Miami
Mm-hmm.
Vice movie. He's in Ali. What else is he in? He's in.
He was in something
He was
recently
in
that I thought
Flash
he was
Forward.
very good in.
Wait, is he in? No, I might be wrong. I'm about to say, is he in La La Land? But I might be wrong about that.
Not La La
He's
Land,
not that, but he's in
is-
something I've seen in the last
Right?
month.
Let me
Yeah,
look.
he's in something recently. Patterson,
Patterson.
which he's the bar
Yes.
owner
I haven't
who's
seen
playing
it. Is
chess
it
against
good?
himself. Great.
He's very good in that.
Great performance.
Yeah.
Always good. Just,
Always
a nice character actor who's always good.
So he's in the first 20 or 30 minutes of this movie a lot as Tucci's enforcer, right? He's Stanley Tucci's right-hand man.
Yep.
You get the sense that over the course of the movie, he's being charmed by Victor's exploits, but mostly just as a reality TV show that he's watching. He's watching Hanks on these security monitors. I'm sorry, he's watching Woody the Cowboy on these security monitors.
There you go.
You know? And they mention at one point the pool they have going about how long it's going to be before he gets out.
January 3rd, he says.
Right. And at the end of the movie, they're all walking. Everyone's cheering behind him, right? Everyone's giving Woody these gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And then Barry Shabaka Henley, the last
Stops
line of
him?
defense, because Corey Reynolds is now standing behind him, escorting Hanks. He is also a security guard,
Yeah.
and he's escorting Hanks to the exit.
True.
And Barry Shabaka Henley goes, "Turn around, turn around, Victor.
Because at this point, Tucci's yelling in his ear,
Yeah.
arrest him!
Arrest him,
Arrest him!
And
It all makes sense why this would be happening.
Shabaka,
This is probably one of the scenes that makes the most sense. This point right here of the lion of cops.
yes, Shabaka takes the jacket off of his own back, puts it on.
Victor Navorsky,
Which
not
is
Woody the
int-
Cowboy.
Which is interesting because when he took his coat off and put it on Forrest,
Yeah.
I was like, he's the only one with a coat on. Why does he have this coat on?
Right.
So once he said turn around, I'm like,
Oh,
he has a coat
that's
on
why.
to give it to Forrest.
Right, he gives it to
Cold
Robert
outside.
Langdon because he says it's cold outside. That it's the
Gives it to
winter.
Jim
he's
Lowell.
going to need it. Jim Lowell. Now,
Lowell.
yes, right, yes. So then Sully Sullenberger finally gets to leave the airport, and he says, "Welcome to America."
Mm-hmm.
He goes to a jazz club. He watches Benny Golson. The great.
There's one part that
saxophonist.
pissed me off the most before we even get to that.
Please.
Tom Hanks is in the car. He sees
The
what's her
Ramada
name?
Inn.
Like no, not even Ramada. Sorry, he's in a taxi, and as he's driving off, Stanley Tucci comes running out.
Yes.
Like he's gonna stop him. Comes running
Uh-huh.
out. Stanley Tucci sees him drive off, and then he smiles.
And he's like,
Oh,
forget
Victor.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, what?
And they go like, "What do you want us to do, sir?" And he's like, 214 is landing in from blank. We got a lot of work to do.
I was like, wait, so is he now cool with
Yeah,
Tom
cool.
Hanks?
This guy, he cannot figure out whether or not he loves or hates Hanks, whether he's trying to help him get out or keep him in. And then he goes to the jazz club, and he sees the performance. It's a little touching. Hanks plays that scene really well when
Yeah.
he's talking to the guy, and he's so excited to see him. And then you see him walk out of the Ramada Inn. He gets into a cab driven by Scott Adsit, and he goes, "Where can I take you?" And he goes, "Home."
This part made me think of John Braylock.
Thank you.
John Braylock was in, This Is Why You're Single. And it's
How to
the-
Be Single.
How to Be Single.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same moment. The woman
Braylock
gets in the
has
car.
the one fucking great joke in How to Be Single.
He does. When we
I've
saw
not
it,
seen How to Be Single.
everyone went in. Like, that
Yeah.
is that line in that movie probably got the biggest laugh when I
Well,
saw
let's
it.
be fair. We saw it in a theater that was 1/3
Braylock
Braylock's
fans.
friends.
Yeah, sure. Hey, listen, no one needs to know that.
But the other 2/3 of the audience also
They laughed still.
burst into spontaneous
Please
applause
get
with
to, get
us.
to your point, please.
There's a point in the movie
Yeah.
where she's hit rock bottom emotionally,
Uh-huh.
right?
Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
All 3 guys that she's been sort of dating all meet and everything explodes and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets into a cab driven by Braylock, and there's like the same sort of like
Sure,
big crane shot.
Yeah.
The magical, here's the New York taxi cab driver, and he pulls up, and Braylock's got like this real light touch, and he goes like, where can I take you? And then she goes like, home. Take me home. And Braylock just turns around and goes, bitch, I don't know where the fuck you live.
Yo, it was like one of the greatest. I was like, that's a great line.
Also, especially because Bray doesn't curse.
Yeah. Like I had to pay fucking $15 to hear you curse. Shit.
But like, especially in a post-Braylock climate, it's impossible to watch that be the final line of the terminal.
I know.
And be like,
You just ended on
that's
this?
where you want him to drive you back to Krakozhia?
Or are you going back to the airport you just left?
Yeah, that's my home. I'm going back. I'm going to live in the airport for another 15 years.
Excuse me, guys.
Yes,
He's going home.
he's going home.
He
to
is.
Krakozhia. He also does hang out with Benny Golson, watches him play the sax.
Yes.
He's the real musician, one of the only 2 surviving musicians from that photo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, true.
And then he goes back home. And then there's a really cool credit sequence where everyone's signatures are their title cards.
Yeah, and it builds some suspense because as you're going through the cast, you're like, oh man,
Who's
what's Zoe
next?
Saldana's signature going to
Yeah,
look
and
like?
I
know.
love that Diego Luna's is just a printed
Block
name.
letters.
Yeah.
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 And like Chi McBride's is the most elaborate,
It's
crazy.
so
like
cool.
it goes all the way back to the C,
It's
and then
so
somehow
cool.
comes around to be like an I. It's great.
And some of the guys like underline their own names, like Hanks and Tucci. It's like, oh, those are real autographs.
Guys, we can't get excited just because of the credits.
You get a little excited about
You're
those
on
credits.
the wrong podcast.
Oh,
if you
no,
don't-
that's the most exciting part of the movie is the credits.
I'll
Good
say
credits.
this. I saw this movie once in theaters when it came out. It was right after my grandmother had died.
Aw.
Mhm.
And we were up in upstate New York where my grandparents lived. And it was like a movie where like, let's get out, go to the local theater. There's like one like 2-screen theater near my grandparents, what used to be their house before they were dead people.
Oh God, it got dark.
Here we go, buddy.
And we went to see it there with like my mom, and my brother, and it like the movie had already come out and sort of bombed at that point, had gotten bad reviews, and everyone was just sort of like shrugging it off. We went to see it, and I was like, I think it should just be charming. And I remembered so little of the movie, save for those credits. Like
Yep,
those
I did
credits
remember
are
the
the
credits.
thing.
First
that's stuck
off,
in my craw.
this movie made $200 million worldwide.
We'll get to the box office game.
All right.
Okay.
I own it. Don't remember how I came into possession of it.
But you do own it.
I do own it.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got in possession.
It's like a monkey's paw. It
Yeah,
showed up
I-
on your
I-
doorstep
I got
at
it.
one point.
I got it. I don't remember buying it, but I
Yeah.
got it. And the thing is, like, it is not the best. But again, I do like movies that are just randomly happy, whatever you call
Some
these
scenes are
kind of
kinda
things.
Charming. Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
Man.
Charming.
Okay, so we do a game here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, well, no, go ahead.
Do you have another
please.
point you want to make?
No Oscar nominations, not even for John Williams' perfectly serviceable score,
Perfectly
which is
serviceable.
pretty. Yeah, usually they'll toss him anything.
Right. Half the time, the score is like him riffing on a fake Krakozhian national anthem that he
Yeah.
made up, and half the time it's just like buttery Spielberg.
Yeah,
slow
it's
motion.
I didn't
usual.
expect this to.
In my opinion, a little more rudely, does not get a production design
Right,
nomination.
that's the one it
which
should get,
It is
is
a
art
very
direction.
nice
Yeah,
production
airport.
design job. It won the Art Director Guild
Yeah.
award.
This is one of the best sets in recent cinema history. I mean, just the
It's
breadth of
impressive.
work.
Because
they
it
have.
looks
It's
real.
impressive.
It looks
it
real.
looks real.
Yes, it looks
I
real.
don't know if you want to go for impressive over art or whatever, but it is anyway.
Yes.
So we're going to play the box office game where we try to guess the movies that were numbers 1 to 5 at the box office. Just
The
the
weekend
movie,
this came out, try to guess the
Okay,
other.
okay.
the movie made $77 million in America.
That's
on
even
a
higher than I
60
remember, I
budget.
think.
You know,
Yeah.
it did fine, and $219 worldwide.
Okay.
Okay, like you say, pretty
Yeah,
good.
okay, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
For for Spielberg and Hanks, it's a little
Yeah,
low.
not for them, but you
No.
give me one of those movies. I
I'd
won,
be
Mo.
happy. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I won.
Comes out
Ain't no Griffin Newman vehicle that's done 219 worldwide.
Comes out June 18th, 2004. Number 2 at the box office. 19 million is its opening weekend.
Now, I think people thought it was going to do like 40, and certainly thought it was going to be number 1. I remember distinctly what beat it because it was viewed as like,
A very big
this is a
surprise.
changing of the guard. If like Spielberg and Hanks are beaten out by this movie, then Hollywood is shifted.
Beaten out by a Hollywood comedy that only cost $20 million to make, made $30
Wait,
million in its opening
Wait,
weekend.
time out.
I know what it
I
is.
know it's one of.
It's 2004.
Okay. Dodgeball.
Dodgeball, a
Correct.
true underdog story.
Because cause I remember that year because Dodgeball came out because it was a battle between my friends. Do you like Dodgeball or 40-Year-Old Virgin? 'Cause they both came out the same summer.
Oh, that's right.
Dodgeball came out first. 40-Year-Old Virgin
Yeah,
came
40
out at the
Virgin
end.
comes out at the end of the
Came
summer.
out at the end of the summer, and it was huge.
Yeah.
It's huge and is a much better
It's a much
movie.
better movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Dodgeball,
it is.
talk about a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, but it was so
It's
fun, though.
Fun.
It was fun and silly.
It's got some good stuff.
scenes,
I mean,
yeah.
it's got Jason Bateman's
It was so
fantastic
fun.
ESPN 8 commentator.
Rip Torn's really good in that.
Rip Torn's good, although
He became a little memey.
Yeah.
Cotton. Who would have thought Jason Bateman? Yo, I like Dodgeball is weird but so fun.
It's entertaining. It's
it
fine.
is. It's fine.
Okay, number 3 at the box office.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a film, the third film in a franchise.
Okay.
The first of these movies in this franchise to come out in the summer. It had been a winter franchise.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Correct. Makes
Great job.
18.
I'm
He's
good
good
at
at
this
this.
game.
It makes 18 million in its third weekend, 190 total. One of the lowest grossing Harry Potter movies.
Which one was it?
I think
Prisoner of Azkaban?
I think it's the number
Prisoner
1
of
lowest
Azkaban.
grossing one.
because it was the first time it got dark, right?
Yeah, and it's the best one.
And it came out in the
I like
summer,
it.
and it was,
good.
it wasn't really a
The
summer.
summer was weird for them, and then also, like, eventually everyone came to terms with the fact that the movies were going to become darker. But, like,
Yeah.
at the time, people were complaining, like, why aren't they wearing the wizard robes the whole time? That's
Yeah.
not Harry Potter. They have to wear the robes.
Yeah, it got so dark. People were like, oh.
Yeah, they're wearing, like, dirty clothes. The whole
Number
movie.
4 is in its fifth weekend. It is the most successful film of 2004.
Shrek 2.
Wow.
13 mil in its fifth weekend. It has made $378 million.
People forget this. At the time of its release, Shrek 2 was the third highest grossing movie, period.
Yep.
Full
Shrek
stop.
2.
The top 3 movies of all time were Titanic, then Star Wars, then Shrek 2.
Wow.
And it held on to that for a while.
Remember all the great scenes in Shrek 2?
I mean, I remember Shrek 1.
Remember Shrek 1? What happens in Shrek 2 again?
Well, I went down a rabbit hole
Puss
with
in
Shrek
Boots
2
is
the
in
other
it.
day.
Is
Yes.
that Puss in Boots? Or is that
Puss in Boots is
Justin Timberlake in
introduced.
it and he's in the third
That's
one?
3.
That's 3. Shrek the third.
I went down a rabbit hole of Shrek 2 the other day because I have a hot take. I think no movie in history has aged more poorly than Shrek 2.
Right, because Shrek 2 is loaded with like pop culture references and the
Yes.
crappy throwaway jokes, right?
Right, and it ends with, like, Puss and Donkey singing Livin' La Vida Loca.
Correct, right.
See, that's not a problem I have with
Isn't that called Far, Far Away Idol, or is that something else?
That's a
that they
special
did?
feature on the DVD that they did.
See,
Yeah.
that's the thing is like when you make movies that's so like reference of the time, it's
Yes.
like you just date it instantly.
Yes.
I remember a scene where the gingerbread man is like wearing a thong,
Yes.
Yes.
and he's
He is
shamed
caught.
for this.
Well, and, yes. And in the second one, there's a big thing where they
Even though he's
He's
a
shamed.
gingerbread
Right.
person.
they build a Mongo who's like the like King Kong version of the gingerbread man. They build like a giant
Oh,
gingerbread
yeah,
man.
yeah.
The ostensible plot of that movie is that Shrek has to meet the parents. It's meet
Yes.
the parents of
Right,
Shrek.
right.
And
But
they
then
don't know.
the prince. I mean, the king
And
is
the
a frog.
princess has
Right.
decided to be a Shrek.
Shrek.
An ogre
princess.
is
Yes,
the term.
Right, ogre.
Or Shrek American.
Shrek
Yeah.
American
Yes.
or Shrek Far, Far Away. And yeah,
Right.
right. And then it turns out the dad. Yeah, okay, whatever.
It's a dumb movie.
Enough
And
about
then
Shrek
Prince
2.
Charming, who feels gypped because I always forget that gypped has that background, and I say it, and then I immediately regret saying
You should
it.
regret saying it.
I always think gypped is Jipped.
Anyway, I'm going to just get you off of this.
Yeah, please do.
Please get me out of
Number
here.
5 is
Get me out.
a
Dig
bad
me out,
movie.
baby.
Number 5 is a bad movie.
Number
that I don't
5's a
like.
bad
That's
movie.
it. This is
I
bad.
don't. I could give you more clues, but I hate this movie.
You hate it.
You got this one, Griffin, because I'm like
Yeah.
a bad movie that doesn't. There's a lot.
I don't know. You use a GIF from it a lot.
Oh.
What is it?
When I'm sliding into those DMs, I'm doing it like Garfield.
Garfield the movie.
Oh, the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
In its second weekend, it's only made 42 mil. Actually, not a huge hit.
No.
How did it get a sequel?
Well, they just really wanted to tell the tale of two kitties.
It also did really well overseas.
It did okay.
Guys, I loved Garfield.
125.
Like the cartoon growing up, I
Yeah.
loved me some Garfield.
There's
man.
some weird episodes of that cartoon.
John is disgusting if you think
It's a
about
weird cartoon.
the trailer for Garfield the movie, they set it up as a weird risky business thing.
it. Yeah.
And they go like this summer, and they go like dun 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 dun. Dun. Like they start playing old time rock
Yeah.
and roll, and then they go get ready for some frisky business.
Right.
And there's a moment in Garfield where Garfield slides across the floor.
Wearing sunglasses.
But in the movie he's not.
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
trailer they added sunglasses to make the joke
and like
track
the
more.
poster is him wearing sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
And
never
it is-
wears sunglasses in the movie.
But Bill Murray sounds great as Garfield. Just wish he had a better Garfield movie.
Agreed. But I use the GIF, I call it Giffield, of Garfield with the sunglasses sliding. Whenever
That's
I
good.
want to make a joke about sliding into your DMs, like
Ben,
I
can
use
you,
that GIF.
Ben, can you groan into the mic right now? Thank you.
slide into those
wow.
DMs like
all right.
Giffield.
And so we
no,
did.
wait, I want to add to this. Have
Oh.
you guys ever seen Garfield minus Garfield?
yes, it's the best.
It is amazing.
Wait,
I recommend
Garfield
it to
minus
all our
Garfield?
listeners.
It's a comic. Some guy went through Garfield comic strips and just removes Garfield from it, so it's just John Arbuckle as a man with clinical depression talking to himself.
Oh no.
Yeah,
it's
very-
super
it's very good.
surreal and absurd
And it becomes
amazing.
like deeply profound.
I'm about to look it up right now.
It's great.
All right. Just we're almost done.
Yes.
But just some other movies in the top 10. If you guys have any opinions on these movies, The Chronicles of Riddick.
I like it.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, and I
What?
love Vin. It's the one Riddick
I did
movie
see
I haven't
it.
seen.
Listen,
You haven't seen it at
Chronicles
all.
of Riddick is one of the weirdest action movies ever, but I like it.
It's some fun D&D shit, like a lot of his weird movies.
Yeah,
it's some
it's
crazy fantasy
fun.
shit.
I guess.
Carl Urban.
Judi Dench.
Oh yeah, Judi
Oh,
Dench is
Dench
in it.
That's got a weird. Carl Urban's in
Carl
it, right?
Urban.
Yeah,
Tandy
It's good.
Newton.
Tandy Newton.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Stepford Wives is in there
I
with
don't
Nicole
like
Kidman.
that. Don't like
Nope,
that.
not a good
no.
movie.
Don't.
The Day After Tomorrow is in there, which
A
you
movie
like.
I like
I
a
do
lot.
not.
I do
like
not
it.
like it.
Do not
I
like
do
it.
not
Not
like
I think
fond
that
of
movie is
movie.
delicious.
I feel like
I
Jake
think that
Gyllenhaal
movie is a
doesn't
piece of
acknowledge he made
shit.
it.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal. I bet if he was like to list his movies, he would not say that movie.
No, I like the Quaid stuff in it. I like the effects. I like some of the weird side plots. I just think the movie's
Remember
fun.
the wolves?
I mean, yes.
Remember them being out when they have to outrun
Yo.
Frost?
Yo, I can't. No.
No,
No.
I agree.
No.
No.
Like,
Around the
like
World
it.
in 80 Days. It
No.
came out this weekend.
just a hard no.
Just a hard no to that one.
Yeah,
with
that's
Steve
a big
Coogan.
bomb. It came out this week.
Huge bomb.
Yeah.
Troy is hanging out.
I liked Troy.
Have you seen it recently? It doesn't.
I
it doesn't.
don't. I know it won't age.
doesn't
well.
age well at all. I didn't like it at the time.
Isn't that
but
one of those movies where people say there's a cut that's better?
whatever.
Yeah, there's a longer version, but it's also like it's just not.
Yeah, right. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, you Saved, Supersize Me, Mean Girls, Van Helsing. Remember
Van Helsing.
I remember Van Helsing. I liked Mean Girls.
Yeah,
Man,
Girls.
Classic.
Man on Fire,
classic.
which is
Classic.
a pretty good movie.
That's a good Denzel movie.
I mean, that
baby.
movie is like way too long, but still pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good
Blue
movie.
Bayou.
Excuse me?
The Blue Bayou. Doesn't he keep on talking about the Blue Bayou?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Don't
Yeah.
Blue Bayou.
And let's not forget Raising Helen, starring Kate Hudson and a pair of Ugg boots.
Directed by.
Gary Marshall.
Please call him Gary.
You know,
R.I.P. Gary Marshall. I
Yeah.
agree.
R.I.P. Gary Marshall.
he's made great movies, but some. You know, like look, man. Everybody has good and bad days, man.
True.
That's how it
Well,
goes.
this has been a great day for us. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for.
Thanks for
being on
having
the
me,
show,
guys.
He's
You
actually
really-
awesome to have
this-
you.
I'll
man.
say this,
It
like,
was,
when-
it was a long wait, but it was worth it.
Thank you.
Really
I'm
worth it.
excited to be here, and you know, I've been trying to get on for a while. And
I know.
I got upset because you guys had did Terminator 2, and I love Terminator 2.
I would have had you on for
I
Terminator
love
2.
me some Terminator 2, man. Those graphics still hold up.
Yeah, they do.
Agreed.
Yeah, they do.
We'll have you on again, unquestionably. This
Please,
was a
please.
real treat and a pleasure. Sometimes you know the wait is worth it, and I'll also say when we were deciding to do Spielberg, we were like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to do the Terminal. Like
Right.
this
There's
was
a couple where you're like just not excited.
this was
for
the
that
episode we were dreading. Where we were like, this is just gonna be like making it through it, and
Yeah.
you made this I think a real.
You know what
standard.
else I'm kind of dreading?
What?
Oh, which one?
BFG.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I don't want to see the BFG.
It's such a. It's. I don't know.
But it makes me think, like, does the
Such a
BFG
short-
not
Can we
work?
just make that like 60 minutes long?
It's
an
also a
episode?
bummer note to end on. It's a
Yeah.
bummer that's the last movie we get to talk
Yeah.
about.
Is the Ready Player One, is that not DreamWorks? But that's not out.
Well,
yet.
that's his
It's
next
just not
movie.
out yet. That's the
Yeah.
problem. You know, I mean, technically, BFG isn't DreamWorks either,
Oh,
No, we're doing Spielberg.
but we're doing Spielberg. Yeah.
makes sense.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up. This has
Thanks
been
for
good.
being here, Jerah. Anything
you,
you want
thank
to plug
you.
that's happening 4 months after we record
okay,
this
okay.
episode?
So by the
Absolutely.
time this comes out, you guys can go on TBS. I have an episode of The Detour. It's
Oh, yeah.
episode 6.
Hey, man.
Get to play a cop that just chases Jason
Jason
Jones
Jones
around for the whole movie.
What's
Cool.
Jason Jones really like?
Actually, dude, he is so freaking nice.
Yeah,
the thing is,
Canadians, man.
the guy that I was, the cop partner I was with, I wasn't the biggest fan of at all.
Interesting.
But
I
like,
wonder who that is.
I mean, not the biggest fan. And like Jason Jones was so nice, he would like just kind of throw out lines.
Yeah.
But the guy was older and just kept saying them first. And I remember getting so pissed on set, like,
Oh,
bro,
he
you
was
taking
like-
on my new
Yeah, he
lines.
was taking all the riff.
Taking on my new lines, man.
Yeah.
It was Tom Hanks, wasn't it?
I would
Hanks.
love it. I'd be like, fucking Hanks. So you can see that. At that point, by this point, Astronomy Club, our web series, Astronomy Club Presents, should be on Comedy Central, hopefully.
Cool.
And it's a sketch show. 3
Cool.
episodes of a sketch show. Watch them because we need those views.
Got those views. In there.
And then hopefully, guys, you know, I have a big movie then or something, like maybe an indie where I get to like be a recovering, like, I don't know, addict, or like I'm be a guy who's a sports athlete who's trying to like make it for his mom or something.
Hey,
Let's
man.
say you have 2. Let's say in the
Yeah.
4 months
Inspirational
between
sports
when,
drama
when we record
and
this and it
recovering
comes out.
addict drama.
No,
Yeah.
I was going to say you have 1 indie drama to show your bona fides, and you have a big blockbuster.
That's
Yeah,
all- that's
it's
all I
already
want.
happened, right?
That's
You're in
all I want.
Transformers 6 and
Yeah.
You know,
whatever,
it's going down. You know, hopefully
the
I get
true
be one of
story of
I get to be one of the
Jim,
random black people
football
in
guy
Black
or whatever.
Panther that's coming
Right,
out. Like
right.
everyone's in it. It's like, yo.
I swear to God, they're good. Yeah, that's that cast. They're just like, oh, also we added the other
Yeah,
guy.
it's like,
Yeah.
This movie's gonna make money.
Yeah, so go see Jerah on Black Panther. Panther.
Yeah, hopefully Black Panther, y'all.
Of course, listen to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
And,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe.
Do those things.
5 stars.
All of those things.
5 stars.
And
As always.
as always, the most romantic thing you can ever do is acquire as much knowledge as possible about a person, not use it in any way, and just give them a ring randomly and decide to get married before you've ever spoken to them.
He took his
That's
head.
right.
They took his head off. Like, I'm done.
You see, is this being your last episode?
Why?
He's dying.
Because it sounds like you're about to die.
I'm not dead, David. I just am very hungover, and I only slept a couple of hours.
I'm aware.
But
You sound so
You got more for me there?
You sound so dead.
So, fuck you, David.
yeah, so David, fuck you. I started recording.
Great.
Jump in whenever you'd like.
Put that at the end.
All right.
This has been a UCB comedy production. Check out our other shows on the UCB Comedy Podcast Network.